Bonjour et bienvenue à Blink 155.
Oh, I'm getting some interference on my signal here. I need to adjust back to the English channel.
No. This is like not doing some like old timey radio drama. Like, and then there was a big storm. There's like a pile of props, like
really,
basically fucking Carrot Top over here.
You know, you'd think that being on your 100 and whatever episode of a Blink-182 podcast, you would have already reached embarrassment chill rock bottom, and yet we keep finding new lows.
It's exciting. I mean, I like to sort of plumb the depths of the human experience. It's electrifying, truly. You cut me off though. Like I had really been like trying to think of like if I could get through. No, I mean I didn't have anything good to say.
Duolingo?
I was like hoping. Yeah, I've been. So I know how to say like the internet's most a beer please of Blink-182 podcast. But I was really hoping I could get through a like internet.
Do you want to start again? Would that help you?
Très bon. No, it's fine. It's the moment's over.
Could you say sixth most popular or whatever?
yeah.
So rude. We're clearly number one, baby. We're the top. We're the top pod in the land.
How do you conjugate numbers like un, deux, trois? But how do you say like first, second, third? Like
you know, it's a good conjugal number. Is 68, the sex number.
Damn. Did you have to learn French at West growing up?
No, I think I've already talked about before how I had a German teacher.
I mean, it's hard to know.
Yeah, no, I took German because it was the easiest class. Because the teacher was so checked out and didn't care, and I still was failing for a while, and I had to really start trying a little bit. It was very frustrating.
Is Blink-155 the most you've ever tried at something in your life?
It kind of feels like it, yeah. I think there's just this safety net of putting all of my effort into the stupidest thing possible instead of putting it into something meaningful, you know?
But I mean, this does mean it means something to the several people who have clicked attending on the Montreal event, which is why I did the big French introduction. I think it's important to contextualize that.
If you were listening
and not just
to this,
cruise right through.
If you're listening to this when it just came out, we are both in Montreal. We're both. Sam is aggressively texting me to hang out, and I'm trying to come up with excuses not to until the live show.
Yeah, I'm like wondering where you're at. Like if you want to grab a coffee or something. I'm like, I found a bar with great mocktails and
yeah.
And you're just like, oh, Sarah's just wrapping up a call. I'll text you in a bit.
I'm in the Moog store, looking at the pedals, even though I don't know what they are. But then I see you walk by, and I'm like, fuck. And then I like get roped into this conversation with a music tech, and I accidentally buy like a $20,000 synth, just to avoid.
That's the tax on avoiding having to deal with me outside of the confines of the podcast.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, it is weird. It's nerve-wracking when we hang out in real life. It fucks up the whole dynamic. That's why we cried last year.
Last year was intense, but I feel like we started doing the pod in July of 2 years ago, right? And I feel like then I immediately saw you a few months later. And at that point, like, we were early stage of the pod and therefore early stage of our sort of, I mean, as real as this friendship is, I guess. And I remember that day being like, what do I do when I see Josiah? Like, do I shake his hand? Do we hug? Like, because we've never really had to consider the sort of scope of our friendship before, and it felt like I had absolutely no idea what the appropriate greeting was for you. But since that day, I feel like...
it was when we went to the movies together. We really bonded.
Yeah.
We shared popcorn. I cut out the bottom of the popcorn bag.
I took care of you. Yeah, it was great.
I left I'm trying to think of what could be like the misdirect in that it would end up being quite innocent. What was in there? Like a gospel tract at the bottom?
Right, yeah, it'll just sneak the good word into my hand.
Oh, Gideon's Bible. Thank you.
That would be great. I mean, the idea of, putting, Bibles in every hotel and motel, like, makes some sense. But, more and more Americans, don't have the means necessarily for the leisure travel that was perhaps afforded for earlier generations and are looking for entertainment closer to home. So why not cut a hole in the bottom of your popcorn bag and shove that Bible right up?
Just in general, like bringing some more meaning to the term glory hole by instead. It's just...
Just filling that hole with Christ's love.
Just there's oh look, it's the message. Perfect. It's all this is actually what I really wanted, not the other things that happen in this not fictional thing that actually exists.
Right, yeah. Please let's not anger the same contingent again, man. And tread so lightly.
So anyways, yeah,
we're gonna hang out in person, and then we're gonna
dancing around one another throughout Montreal, throughout all of its Le boroughs. Is that what the neighborhoods are called?
I think so. Yeah.
We're like on
bureaus.
But then on Saturday, tomorrow, if you're not in Australia and listening when it first came out, we'll be doing a live show that we've just talked about, possibly bursting at the seams with exclusive content for the live audience only.
It's thick. Like it's a beefy boy, and I'm very excited to unveil our boy. It's gonna be like super fun. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for us to dodge each other. But I think the one thing about you and I hanging out that's like it's mostly fine, except for the fact that I drink and you don't, and so it is normally like a great sort of social lubricant, which is like sharing in the consumption of alcohol, is very one-sided.
Right. Well, we can always go to church together on Sunday.
We should. I'm there Sunday. We should go to like what's the big? Is it Notre Dame? Did they just steal everything from the actual French?
I have no idea. But I want to talk to you about very quickly, just very quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. Of course, efficiency, the essence of this entire process.
Exactly. There's been a lot of viral tweets about podcasts lately. About
what is up with podcast discourse right now?
I don't know, but I hate every side of it, no matter what. Someone's getting pissed off about how podcasts are so indulgent, and it's usually just two bros stumbling over each other to make jokes instead of talking about the topic at hand. Mm-hmm. I think
we've avoided that problem through careful editing.
Well, yeah, I mean, mostly you're the one who lets me do the jokes.
It's true. I have given the floor over to you because I'm so generous.
And then there was that New York Times article about like, I don't know, some girl started a shitty podcast and it didn't work out, and somehow she got this huge New York Times spread. But then all these people were like talking about like how much work doing a podcast is and how like we don't give them enough credit, and they're like talking about how 15 minutes of storytelling podcast takes like, I don't know, 10 years of research or some shit.
Yeah, it was that viral tweet was literally, I was like, that's fair, because like real good, like I get that, it's like television, it's like any documentary, right? But it was like it takes 5 editors. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. There were like 3 to 5 editors. I was like, what are you, like, that is inefficient. Like, that is some like Tommy Wiseau level inefficiency in your process. I'm sorry to say.
I mean, I was making fun of it because I was like, oh, it's not hard. You just fucking talk out your ass and everyone loves it and it's easy as hell. And then Sarah was like, okay, but the bags under your eyes are like turning brown. Like, you're so exhausted. Like, you're dying. And I'm like, oh, it's fucking easy. You just go on the computer. So I don't know. I think mostly I'm lost in the podcast discourse. But I don't want to talk to you about that. I want to talk to you about fucking American politics. Of course.
Damn. Yeah, that's what that is. I feel like the one thing here. No one comes here for, you know, like of all our other horrible and useless tangents, this is one where I think we've struggled to really find relevance for our audience. But please go ahead.
You know, I'm trying to get in with the hashtag resistance. I'm sick of fucking leftist podcaster people. I'm ready for the resistance. So I want to talk about my boy Robert Mueller.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Testifying in front of Congress today. You must have been just glued to your tweet machine.
Oh, yeah. Just so many good
John Favreau tweets for you to enjoy. Just following the whole Pod Save America clique.
You know, there's the John Favreau who's the right side man of Iron Man. And then there's the John Favreau who's an actual superhero. And that's what I think about him. But what I want to say about Robert Mueller is like he's such a divisive character because people can't decide like about what his report means for Trump. And so I was, you know, I mean, I'm a news junkie, Put it right in my veins.
You're a pageman. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah,
right?
I'm a pageman.
You know of which you speak and mark.
And now that I'm pivoting towards hashtag resistance, I especially think I need to become even more of a pageman and kind of just keep Spotlight on a loop in the background at all times. Or what was that like George Clooney black and white movie about like, I'll be damned if I don't read the news? I feel like there was one like that many years ago.
Yeah. It's a Good Night and Good Luck. Is that the George Clooney?
Yeah.
Pageman film. Yeah.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
What can I say, man? I really wanted to go to journalism school at some point for like 2 months.
We need to make a third Frost Nixon joke at some point too, because someone's keeping tabs on that as well.
I hope that's its own Twitter account.
I think the reason people can't make up their mind about Robert Mueller is that it's not really clear what he said in his report. Like, some people are like, yeah, he's definitely said that Trump has done all this bad shit and done collusion and whatnot and all these things that I know about. And then other people are like, oh, well, he's clearly been infiltrated by Trump because he gave him a free pass. But then today I saw this article that's kind of like looking at the nitty-gritty of the Mueller report, and it's like, you say that he gave Trump a free pass, but if you look at it, when did he clear him?
Jesus. That was like all time. I truly, that was one where I didn't know where that was going until it was happening in front of my eyes. So congratulations.
Well, and how do you think the American government feels?
So the song Wendy Clear by the band Blink-182. Josiah, how do you feel about this classic of the genre?
I think something inside me wants to hate this song, but I love it so much. Like, I think ever since I first heard it, I'm like, I fucking dare you to become one of my favorite songs, and then instantly it did, and I love it so much. But there's something about it where I'm just like doing the Larry David like investigation face while I listen to it.
But so what is it about this like near perfect pop punk song? Is it that it's so perfect? Like, because to me, I hear this song, it feels like it was sort of plucked from the heavens, you know, like just like a star that fell to earth.
This has got to be top 5 for you, no?
This is absolutely top 5 for me, 100%.
I think it's borderline top 5 for me, but I'm never revealing the rest of my top 5 other than strings. Strings. So what was it for you though that caused this sort of like initial negative response? I think that this song is indicative of like how I felt about Enema of the State, where it feels like they sat down and were like, we need to make all of our songs slower so that we're more popular. And so it feels slow, but I actually wonder if the BPM even is slow, or if it's just like the cleaner production makes it sound slower or something. But I always thought like, oh, this is like it felt like a sellout song, but I have always loved it and still do. So I don't know.
But like sellout songs are fine. Like, you know, do we think "Damn It," and this is where we start the "Damn It" episode, is a sellout song because it was, you know, kind of slow and it was a radio hit, but like inarguably a perfect pop song.
But that's what you're right is like. I think just the production being a little bit cleaner and like the organ, especially today listening to it again, like, ooh, the organ actually sounds quite corny sometimes.
No, the organ is so good.
But it is so good too. I'm just saying like, I'm having my own let people enjoy things moment with myself where I just like, I don't want to.
What a freeing moment. I'm so glad I could be a part of this.
I just hear it and I love it, but I'm mad at myself a little bit for loving it. But it's so good. And the thing that
I thought you had sort of gotten out of this hole of like hating yourself for liking good and popular things.
I know, but there's just something about it. I think
you haven't recovered emotionally yet. Yeah, from whatever sort of scars were inflicted on you on these shows.
I'll figure it out tonight, hopefully. As we get through this. But I will say, the riff is unbelievable, and the guitar riff on its own is absolutely plucked out of Dude Ranch. I think it could be a Dude Ranch riff for sure. And then
totally.
I love, especially verse 2, like the bass line, the way that it sort of has this punchy like late note. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm talking about? I should have like figured out how to explain it, but there's something about it that makes it very difficult for some people to cover it as well. But there's just like it's so clever and punchy.
Well, that's the thing is I think like on one hand the song is kind of a slowed down, very like there's nothing shocking about it. It just constantly feels like it does everything that you think it should do. Like it feels oddly kind of predictable, and that's what I mean. Like, you know, joking aside, this sort of just feels like one of those perfect Mark pop punk songs that has just existed forever, and he breathed it into life. You know, like. And it's interesting because there are pieces of it that are sort of unexpectedly complex that elevate it above just like what would be like a benign all-time low song.
Yeah, like it's just on the verge of those things, but it is just so good. I don't know. I think I also was like do you have the Genius open? Reading what it's actually about is like, I don't know.
Well, so, okay, wait. Before we get into what it's about, do we want to address the organ? Because I feel like you came at the organ and I didn't have an opportunity to really defend the organ.
Sure. And I actually don't even hate the organ. I love the organ when it's mixed in the background, but it's especially when everything cuts out and there's just like the soft guitar, and then you hear him do that like stanky run his hand up the organ thing.
Yeah,
it's like so bad. It sounds like a gospel scene in a Farrelly Brothers movie. Like it's so cheesy.
Like Green Book.
Yeah. I still haven't seen that.
Neither have I. Why would you?
I'm such a good ally. I refuse to see it.
Yeah, that's the reason. Same, totally the same. But I feel like this sound was like very much of a moment, and it's funny that we were talking about the song today. Because today at work, I was like watching, like with someone else that I work with, a clip of the band performing, and they have like a lot of organ sound, and we were just like, why is every band should have to have an organ? And then I came home and listened to this and was like, here's why. Like Blink should tour, like they should have. I know we've talked about this before. They don't have the like Green Day kind of wall of backup musicians, but they should have like a touring organist who just does like the wall of sound in this and in Damn It, because I feel like Damn It was the first time, like obviously that like, you know, whatever B3 Hammond I feel like is like the effect when I would try to like recreate it on my own demos when I eventually got GarageBand or whatever.
Yeah.
But like that sound obviously has existed throughout, you know, like popular and unpopular music, but like the Damn It sort of final chorus where the organ comes in and has that little hook in the background was, I think, the first time I had like really heard it in especially this context and was like, holy fuck, that's incredible. Like it just like it has such a like surprising and like, and forgive me for using this word, but I mean it literally, like this sort of epic quality to it where it just like opens up a song and just provides this like bed, and that's obviously the purpose of it sonically, right?
Well, I guess for me the thing about the organ is I've always loved exactly what you're talking about, and I ripped it off a little bit on like one Grown Up song, and it made the song sound so good. But I've loved that it's like in the background, and if you're just a teen listening to it, you don't even realize there's an organ on there. And totally, that's like, yeah. And then as I got older, I was like, holy shit, there's like actually secret organs and acoustic guitars on like tons of mainstream pop punk songs, and that's like a thing you can do to elevate the production, but it's not like so on the nose and out in the open. And that's specifically why I really don't like that stanky gospel organ when it comes in that one part, because I love when it's like sort of a subtle nuance that's just elevating the whole thing rather than being like, we have an organist guy, and then you just like picture like an Austin Powers scene or something when he does that.
Right. But do you think that, again, as a teen, you heard or other teens were hearing the organ in this song? Like, do you think this organ is a more egregious organ usage than, say, Damn It, which is, I think, the most like obvious comparison here?
It's a little bit more egregious, but I also like it, so I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I'm just like arguing for no reason to fill air because I like it. I just don't like that one part where it comes in with the wee.
Like, what a fun thing that must be to play. Like, can you play piano? Like, can you play keyboards at all?
I can play the song Long December.
Oh, wow.
Exclusively. That's all I can play.
We should find like a bar with a piano when we're in Montreal. Hit it up at like 3 a.m. when I'm like, tangled up and you are.
I'm hoping that
sober.
Maybe they'll have one of those like pianos that's on a street corner that's covered in paint, like most big cities have, and then I'll just play it, and then like construction workers will peer up from a manhole and start singing along.
For the na na na, like when the big sing along moment happens.
My dad like taught me how to play that when we were like, I forget where we were, away somewhere where there was a piano and we're just killing time, and he taught me how to play that, but I don't really know. Like, I can bullshit, but I don't really know how to. I definitely don't know how to do the stanky organ thing.
I just love that your like, PhD academic father is a Crowsman.
Oh, absolutely. My first show ever was The Crows and The Wallflowers.
But like in my mind, those bands are like our era of bands. Like most people when their parents drag them to their first show, it's like we saw the Stones, we saw Johnny Cash.
Yeah, no, my dad was like that was
very
like,
contemporary.
He was, yeah, especially then he was like super into. I mean, that kind of vibe was for people who were into the Stones. Like, it was very like...
Right, it's like the next step. And like, here's like a band that's maybe more relevant for you today.
It's like turtleneck music. But fucking... The Counting Crows are so sick, actually. Like, completely unironically, they're incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those first two albums are so good.
Yeah, that's a true fact.
I would hope so. But anyways, the organ belongs to... we've talked about this a bunch, but I feel like we can't talk about it enough because it's Roger Joseph Manning Jr., who mostly is known as being a member of Beck's backing band. And he's also played with Air a bunch. So he was kind of like in the world of like sort of like classier music. I find it very funny that he ended up on all these Blink-182 songs. He plays on Damn It as well. So
this is the same sweet organ sound.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just saw that in January of this year, so we wouldn't have talked about it, I don't think. So this is new, but he played on a Mariana's Trench song.
Oh, hell yeah. Yo, maybe because we played on a Marilyn Manson song on his new record. We should get the Trenchy Boys on the pod. Because the Trenchers, which are for people outside of Canada, what Mariana's Trench fans are called, are a dedicated bunch.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'd rather let you handle that one.
I'm happy to reach out. We've had some good interactions.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen you interview that guy on the Juno's red carpet.
Yeah, like every year.
So anyways, yeah, the organ, I do like it. That's what I'm saying is there's something about this song where I'm just like, I'm constantly trying to call bullshit on it and I can't. And I don't know why.
I honestly think there's something about this song where it feels too perfect and too easy. Like I just think about the way the drum fills even sit in this song. And I remember like when we had drums like in my parents' basement and I would like put who am I fucking kidding? Put CDs in my Discman and play along to them. And I can't play along to like anything obviously on this record. I was a bad drummer before I was a bad guitar player. But like this song is so easy to play along to. And there's something with the fills where it's just like, it's, again, this is a terrible word, but it's like propulsive and so simple, but not in the kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing way. It's like the sound of someone who just knows exactly what fits there. That just like, like it just like flows in a way that I feel like no other Blink song kind of flows. Like even again, other Perfect Mark pop punk songs.
Yeah, it will also there's the use of halftime where it becomes like a syncopated Third Eye Blind beat, but it's so tasteful and fast that you don't even notice that it happened unless you listen really closely.
Yeah, totally. And so I just think it's possible to hate this song for kind of being like too perfect, and not in a like, engineered for radio way, but just in a like, good God, like every single thing about that song is exactly how it should be. Yeah, that's the only way I can think to describe it. And then maybe that irks a little bit because you're never like, oh shit, that's a cool decision. Just the whole time you're like, yep, good, now I'm done.
Yeah, it's too perfect. It's too squeaky clean. But I do really love it because I think the main thing that always keeps me coming back is the creative like punchiness of the bass and the riff. Like good. Everything feels a little bit off kilter, but it all works perfectly. And then it makes you addicted to listening to it.
You're right though that the riff is like super Dude Ranch. Like it basically sounds like Lemmings or I'm Sorry, right? It's like you feels like it's sort of culled from the same batch, but then it's played totally differently. Like again, nothing on Dude Ranch has like this particular sort of type of groove. Yeah. Every word that I'm saying, I mean, like completely sincerely, but they're all the worst words. Epic groove, like what else?
Look, you're describing a Blink-182 song. You can't be cool about it.
I'm going to die by Le Suicide before we even get to fucking Montreal.
Okay, well, let's talk about the lyrics. I think the other thing that is making me be like, I don't know.
Is it the? Because I'll be honest, I knew that this song was about. because they talked about this. I think even like what they would talk about it on stage is, the song's about like Mark was in love with a woman who worked at their record label or something, and they couldn't be together, and that's what the song is about. But this is the first time, and I always thought like the boat was like maybe a metaphor, but this is the first time I truly understood what this entire song is actually about.
Yeah, like it's so. I never really knew that it was about forbidden love, and that's already interesting. Actually, that's fine. It's still just kind of literal, but then to find out that it's like about a boat that he owned, that's definitely named after Wendy from Peter Pan,
right?
And
it's forbidden love on his boat.
Yeah, it's
boat love.
I had only, I mean, obviously my eyes immediately darted to this, but I had only known that he wrote this while on tour with MXPX. And I was like,
see, I didn't know
yeah.
that. That makes sense. That's the knowledge you came with.
That specific tour was, of course, the Poo Poo Pee Pee tour.
Oh, of course it was. Wow, that's where this song came from.
But the Poo Poo Pee Pee tour is so important because it's also the one where Travis joined. I mean, everything goes back to Poo Poo Pee Pee, and I'm not just talking about Blink-182 or the tour or anything. I mean, in life, really.
The essence of life is truly poo poo and pee pee, ignoring some of the other important, functions and fluids. But let's talk about the genius definition of the song title, right? Because I think this is clearly where, like, I remember being like, this song has super Champagne Sammy vibes by starting out with like, let's take the boat out on the bay, babe.
Oh yeah, you're like that Weekend Update character with that new guy that I hate.
Yeah, but that's a funny character, to be honest.
It's true, but I feel like that guy's not even acting when he does. Like, that's like the base level of who works at SNL is people like that.
Pretty much, yeah. People
he's just
with
being
boats.
Jost.
Yeah, he's doing an impression. But like the song opens with, let's take the boat out on the bay, forget your job for just one day. Now, this is a man who like writes a lot about ocean metaphors, but in this case, he's clearly being very literal because Wendy Clear is, Wendy is the name of Mark Hoppus's boat, and you end your transmissions when you're talking to other boats by saying clear. So I guess like if you're like blah, 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 Wendy Clear, and that's how people know that you're done talking about your boat to them.
Like, Wendy Clear is an insanely sick 90s alternative name.
It's so good.
It's so good without knowing all these literal definitions, which kind of bummed me out. And obviously it's been like everyone's screen name for literally 20 years.
This should definitely be a young adult novel about 90s nostalgia that then gets adapted into like a semi-successul young adult film starring like Jonah Hill's sister or whatever her name is.
A Hulu original film.
Yes, yeah. Wendy Clear has extreme Hulu original energy.
Yeah, it really does. So there's all this boat shit, and then he wrote it while he's on tour with MXPX about having a crush on, quote, someone you are not supposed to like. And then there's the program from the tours around the time of Enema's release had an annotation from Tom that said, Wendy Clear is a song Mark wrote about this girl he had a crush on. He liked her, but he really couldn't date her because she was a very influential person in the music industry. So them dating was a very tricky situation. I wish it didn't have to be so bad is how the song goes. Thanks for explaining that, Tom.
It's like he had to fill a word count or something.
Didn't need that last sentence, really.
A lot of like, it's like a real like, what time is the Super Bowl of like interview SEO.
So I mean, before we get really into the lyrics, I wish that I had more time and had dedicated more of my
I think it's okay,
brown
man,
eye pocket bags to figure out who was
your brown eye, eh?
Exactly. Oh, I'm using my brown eye all the time. I would love to like somehow stalk who worked at MCA Records in 1998 and figure out who Wendy Clear was.
It would be amazing if her name was Wendy and his boat was like named after this forbidden love. Like that's like, imagine how weird her version of this is, where it's like, I bought this boat, I named it Wendy, and she's like, listen, Mark, like you're a great guy, but like it's complicated, the label, I don't even really like you that way, so like, and the label's kind of more or less just an excuse because like he's not an employee. They're like the relationship is essentially he's a contractor, right? So like it feels like one of those things. You're like, oh, sorry, I talked to my boss and they said, right, sorry.
Yeah, like famously in the music business, the executives really don't like to mingle sexually with the.
There's a firewall there. It's
yeah, it's real.
look through
real church and state. You
Yeah.
keep it separate. And also, I love that. It's the vibe I'm getting is not like, it might be a little bit awkward. It's more like, man, I definitely just want to like use this woman, and then when I'm done with her, we're gonna get dropped because it's gonna be awkward. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not like, it's not necessarily the vibe of like, what if things don't work out? What if it's not my happy ever after? It's more like, oh, I want to date this chick, but it's gonna fuck everything up if I screw. I don't know. I'm just getting there's just a weird vibe about it all.
Right. I mean, I think it's great. Like, the sentiment seems more straightforward to me than maybe it does to you. I just cannot get over the fact that the first verse, the song opens with him being like, come on my boat. Like, it is the most, on a record, and I think that's the other thing that I've always liked about this song, is that from the jump, they were very clear about the song's meaning, which was like, you know, kind of like forbidden love in a professional environment. And to bring this back to everyone's favorite, cudgel of mine, which is going away to college, like, this song feels like a very honest adult song to write, but still in a like very like classically pop punk format. And I know that makes it sound like an intellectual reason for liking the song. Like, oh, it's a fucking,
Right.
really mature songwriting, and that's what really gravitated me to the band Blink-182 and their album Enema of the State. But I do feel like there's something about the lyrics that just feels so like authentic and straightforward from someone who frequently is not. And outside of just intellectualizing it, I feel like you can feel that. Like, I do feel like it just has an aura of authenticity that doesn't necessarily exist on all Mark songs.
Yeah, and I think that's probably another one of many reasons why it's so great and has spoken to so many people. But I'm also thinking, when Mark's writing Wendy Clear while he's on tour with MXPX, he's not like boat rich. So I'm thinking maybe this is quite a shitty boat that like his uncle has or something.
Oh, right.
Because probably like
That's true. That's true.
In San Diego, you probably have like, there's boats floating around.
There's probably boat classes, whereas, like, and I mean that in terms of like a class system, not like ways to learn how to boat, because that's also true. But like in Toronto, if you own a boat, like, you're a certain class. There's not a lot of lower class boats in Toronto, and I predict
Right.
like, is there somewhere to put a boat in Calgary?
I have no idea. There's like a fake man-made beach called Sukhumi Beach that Chicks Dig It have a song about.
Great song.
Never been there. Try not to leave my apartment because then I remember that I live in Calgary. So,
Right.
but
You never wanted to go to Sukhumi Beach? That song's so good.
I actually did always want to go because of that song, and Sarah was like, "Trust me, it's terrible. We're not going." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine."
That's like an all-time Chicks Dig It jam. I had no idea that was a man-made lake.
Yeah. What if, or it could be like one of those, what if it's a pedal boat? I mean, I think you might be bringing Champagne Sammy energy to the phrase, let's take the boat. Then again, taking the boat out on the bay, he's not saying the lake, he's saying like, yeah, we're going to like some spot where there's like an expensive oyster restaurant or something.
Yeah, this is a seaworthy vessel, right? Okay,
Right.
So there's that. The other thing is it clearly comes equipped with some sort of radio for conversing with your fellow boaters. And having been in some shitty boats, like, those boats don't have radios. Like, when you just get like an aluminum boat to go fishing, you have like a motor and the little stick, and then that's it, right? There's no way to be like, 10-4 coming to you from the Gord Downey here on Lake Simcoe. Like,
That's true. So, I mean, if this is authentic, is Mark secretly always been a rich kid?
No, because he wasn't born with the rich blood.
That's true. Yeah, not the rich blood, but now maybe let's do that song again. Because maybe that meant that they had like thin blood.
Right. I wasn't born with nutrient-rich blood.
All right.
I've had to have some transfusions. But this raises a question. And so I do wonder, though, so maybe some of our like Southern California listeners can like educate us. Because, again, we're bringing our perception of boat ownership to a very different part of the world.
Or, you know what else? Maybe it's her boat because she's an exec at MCA Records.
I don't know. It does say it comes from Hoppus's boat named Wendy. But, I mean, that's also...
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, you're right.
But, yeah, did he use his, like... Damn it money to, like, did Josie money buy a boat?
That's what I'm trying to understand.
Maybe he's one of those guys like in movies who like he's like a down on his luck private detective and he sold all those things and he lives in his boat. Like maybe it is a boat that is doubling as his lodging.
When he has a beard, I could really picture it. A guy who lives in his boat.
Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, okay, well that does raise a lot of questions. You're right. He owns the boat. It's named Wendy, and he's saying let's take it out on the bay. So
yeah, he's
really
the one making the
so if he's
sea
so
plan.
financially secure that he has a boat that is seaworthy and has a radio and exists on the bay, he's clearly so self-made. So I almost question why he's even concerned about being dropped from the label, because he's already self-made. It's fun. He should have more of a laid-back attitude.
But I think, what we don't realize as sort of, being where we are on the kind of economic totem pole is that, capitalism is slavery the whole way up. And even as, Mark has ascended, I think maybe what this song is also doing, while it is a celebration of, rampant consumerism and boat ownership, at the same time it is acknowledging the prison that we're all trapped in under our current economic model.
So again, Mark's Hoppus is at it again. So I didn't know this line was in the song. Did you? Like, I feel like you're the kind of person, like my wife, who can hear a song and just like immediately pick out all of the lyrics and then remember them forever. And I'm not like that at all. Like, I did not know that this song included the line, "It might be inappropriate because either way our band gets dropped." Oh yeah.
No, I'll be honest, I had no idea until I opened up Genius.
That is so bizarre, and I guess I'm getting put off by the literalness of this, because I always thought that this song was like some weird, mysterious, like heartbroken love song, and no one knew who Wendy Clear was. And knowing that it's all so literal is kind of bugging me, but I also like the meta-ness of either way our band gets dropped. Like, that's kind of funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just like not how they've generally written, right? And so I think that's like looking at it before we started and being like, Jesus Christ, because I kind of thought I knew the lyrics to this. And I do think I'm like maybe somewhere then between you and Sarah, because we'll like talk about songs. You're like, I've never heard these lyrics in my life, even though it's like, damn it, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Certainly I never paid enough attention, or like I heard something else there and never questioned it. But the idea of like acknowledging the existence of your band in the song, like knowing that in the universe of Wendy Clear, Blink-182 is a band that Mark Hoppus is in.
So then he definitely owned a fancy boat. Like, there's no question.
He's not pose-dogging about the boat.
Okay, I mean, obviously, iconic line, "I'd play with fire to break the ice." That's so fantastic.
So sick.
That's literally a great line. It's like that. I mean, that's probably one of Mark's best lines ever, I think.
Well, he's mixing metaphors in like very clever fashion, which doesn't feel like, usually I feel like when songs are like, I'm on the water, like flying in my helicopter, and you're like, what? Why is that?
Yeah. Yeah, but like in
this is like a good mixed metaphor.
The narrative of the song, even if I think it's a bit cheesy, the fact that it pays off just with this one line is incredible. That is so clever and good. Now, the next line, I've always remembered it and thought, and I've confirmed with myself when I was a kid that it wasn't the case, but I still, because of the way Mark speaks, I still think that he's saying it like Homer Simpson, that he's saying, "I'd play with a nuclear device." Even though he says nuclear, but like,
yeah, he definitely says nuclear.
But he's saying nuclear. Like, the song is begging him to say nuclear. It's just like it's there.
Yeah. How disappointing for you, though. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And then I don't know. The rest of the chorus is kind of like filler words a little bit. But
no, because again, it's like, will he regret it? Does he just, or do I just want what I can't have? Like, I don't know. And I think I wish it didn't have to be so bad is like a great little refrain to have be like ultimately the most memorable hook in the song.
Yeah, the song's so fucking good.
It's so good. What about the third? It turns out I don't know like any of the fucking words. The 3-date theory is getting old.
Yeah, so I guess...
I don't think I knew that was the fucking words.
Me neither, and I don't know about that line either. But I think it...
3-date theory is presumably that you will find your soulmate by the 3rd date, or perhaps lose the common anticipation of sex on the 3rd date. I mean, it's been so long since I dated anyone. Is this a theory? I mean...
Hey, in the day of the apps, it's more like the 3 swipe theory.
Damn. Savage contemporary social commentary design. That's what people come here for.
Seriously, if we ever had to talk about like dating, it would sound like you're listening to a podcast in an old folks' home. Which we're both like, now I remember taking my gal down to the
Space Jam. This just how have we not had to talk about dating on like in 107 episodes of a Blink 182 podcast? Like we did a song called First Date, and we were just like, this song's bad.
Yeah, true.
I don't know that any of this ever came up. Maybe it did. Maybe I just don't remember.
I don't know, but I mean, either way, how does this relate to going on the boat with the record label lady?
I guess what he's saying is like, if the 3-date theory is related to soulmate stuff as opposed to sex stuff, you know, everyone's getting left out in the cold. Like this idea of like, you know, people are you know, partnering off. Maybe the ocean has less fish in it, and I guess is literal in this case because he's
water metaphor,
yeah, and so like he's sensing like, you know, his biological clock is ticking. He must procreate. He has to spread his seed out in the ocean. He has
blue balls. I would love someone like being like someone describing having blue balls, saying that their biological clock is ticking. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, totally. Oh, sorry, babe. Just my biological clock's really ticking.
I think that what this is a classic case of like, he's already written some incredible lines, and now he just has to write a second verse. And I've been there before where I'm like, oh God, I have to I wish I could just sing the first verse again.
Right. Yeah, where you're like, man, I really nailed this idea the first time. I got nothing else to say.
Then I got to say some dumb shit, so it's like, I'll just say some metaphorical things about being left in the cold. Could mean anything.
It's fine.
Because also, what does this mean? I'll see you with another guy who pretends not to hear you when you cry. Oh, yeah. So is he having sex with her around the other guy? Like, is she crying? What? Like, I mean, tell me what this means. I'll see you with another guy who pretends not to hear you when you cry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's saying, oh, yeah, as sort of to fill in the syllables. He's not saying that she's crying, exactly. Oh, yeah. I always thought that it was
hear you when you're crying, oh, yeah, like this man is like an insensitive lover.
Yeah, like she's crying, oh, yeah. Pleasure. That's what I always thought it was her crying out in ecstasy. Yeah, I thought it was like, oh, it must be a sex thing.
Perf, bro.
I mean... It's because of that little bass thing. They have to fill the syllables in there, and so it's getting all confused. I always thought he pretends not to hear you when you cry. Oh yeah, like I was always like, what does that mean?
Oh yeah,
Wouldn't
no, I
he
was
like
interpreting
that?
it as like, you know, this object of your affection is upset, and you just feel like, oh, he's in the other room playing Nintendo. It's it's now the American Hi-Fi song.
I'm trying to think what console he would have been playing in '99.
Is that a GameCube era, maybe?
PlayStation 1. He's playing Vice City.
Playing Parappa the Rappa.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, he's not going to hear you crying then. He's got to focus on the tunes.
Yeah, exactly. Who can blame him? I think the real hero of the song is this other guy.
Right, yeah, exactly. Tell me more about that guy. He's good as hell
at Parappa the Rappa.
That guy rules.
Yeah. Shout out other guy.
How does he know that the other guy... He sees her out with the other guy, but how does he know that she's crying in the other guy's... How does he know that A, she's crying, B, that the guy can hear her, and C, that he's pretending not to hear her? Like, Mark is bringing so much baggage to this.
Okay, well, maybe let's go with the idea that Mark
are they all on the boat together? That's why,
or they dock in the same, like they're all part of the same, like
this is a very
dock zone.
Song.
Yeah, totally. So like these are like his neighbors, and he lives on his boat, and so he can hear her crying like in the galley, which I think is where you would go to cry on a boat. And maybe the guy's just up top, you know, I don't know, blasted cigs, being cool as hell.
Playing Parappa. He has a portable TV.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Think about how bougie this other guy's boat is.
Oh yeah, it's like Mark has a bougie boat, but not like other guy bougie.
No. He's a comparatively modest boat.
I actually don't think, when I look at it as a collection of words, I don't think "I wish it didn't have to be so bad" is that great of a line. I think it's very memorable and it sticks with you, but like it kind of reminds me of "Life is too short to last long." I mean, it makes more sense than that, but it's also kind of like he's not really saying anything. I wish it didn't have to be so bad. You could apply that to anything. It's like
that's why it's a good generic line.
End racism or whatever.
Yeah. It's
when it comes to life, I wish it didn't have to be so bad.
Right, but again, this is what I think is one of the sort of like perfect things about the song is it has this like very direct specificity to it that mostly you and I, despite listening to this record like thousands of times, have totally missed. Like the idea of their band getting dropped and the 3-date theory. Like there's specific things in the song that I think make it, again, like just this extra kind of personal expression from Mark. And then the memorable part is this like wildly generic, like, damn, today sucked. I wish it didn't have to be so bad. Like, man, this person I have a crush on doesn't, reciprocate. I wish it didn't. Like, it's kind of perfect. And that becomes and then that sort of colors the way that you feel about the entire song.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's just, it's more that I'm now thinking about like filling syllables and how it seems like some of these sentences could be like a lot shorter, but because they're just trying to fill the syllables of this like herky jerky pop punk song.
For some reason, the one example that always comes to mind for shit like that is Lose Yourself, like the chorus of Lose Yourself, which is like, in many ways, I think a classic song, but it's the opportunity comes with once in a lifetime, yo, is like crucial to sort of closing off the rhyme. And it's like all the yo is like deep in the background, but you're like, you have to say it. Like, again, it's the oh yeah of Eminem's discography.
I can't believe that it's not an orgasm thing. I guess that's true because when he's saying either way our band gets dropped, now I'm thinking of the Kool-Aid guy.
Yeah. But in that sense, like, I mean, he seems like he's spying on these people. So maybe like she's crying, the guy is playing his portable PlayStation, and he's knocking through their boat, Kool-Aid style. And maybe the oh yeah is him. Like it should be in quotes, right? Like, does that hear when you cry? Quote, oh yeah.
Just like really wish that I didn't know that this song was about a forbidden love affair with your boss at a San Diego harbor. Like that's just like
it's so good. I love it.
Talk about harboring
a cute indie movie.
Talk about harboring a crush, Mark.
Oh wow, Josiah. It's amazing. Now I gotta ask, while we're like really, really going in on these lyrics, did you ever feel? Because look, I'm sure we've talked about this at some point on this pod, but like I certainly grew up as like a boy who felt like he was always like a best friend or a close friend, rather to many women that I also like had crushes on, right? And so
are you like trying not to say the word friend zone?
Well, but like I'm certainly not trying to say that at all. But there's something about this line. I remember like being a kid who like had all these like. So when you're like, how is he hearing that the guy is ignoring him when you cry? It's like sometimes when you have these types of relationships as a like wayward teen, like a person you have a crush on could conceivably be like, my boyfriend's such a piece of shit. I was super upset last night. He just ignored me. And you're like, I would love you forever. And it's super not weird, and it's really normal, and you definitely don't give off a weird vibe, and it's fine. And the internet has proven that those kinds of people always grow up to be totally cool.
Yeah, that's true. No, because as I've established, I always thought that was some sort of line about her crying out, oh yeah.
Right, so we pleasure. Had dramatically different. So did you relate to it as a pleasure giver?
I've just always been really confused by all the lyrics on Enema of the State specifically. Like, I don't know.
Turns out some of that's on you, though. Like, really.
Yeah. Like, I remember Mutt as well, and yeah, especially Mutt, that episode, I was like so confused about every line, and I still don't really get what it's about. Like, and that one was another one that was like, oh yeah, it's just literally about our friend and all the stuff that he did. And I'm like, okay, but I don't know, like and we say that we're not seeker sensitive enough with our pod, and then you're making these songs where it's like you had to be hanging out with Mark this summer to know what the fuck he's talking about. Like basically the only person who understands this song is the lady that worked for MCA Records.
Right, which like does someone listen to this pod like work for MCA now? Wait, hold on.
Does that even exist anymore?
No, it doesn't. But hold on.
Do you own it now?
I'm wondering if I. Oh my God! Yes. Okay. So MCA was eventually acquired by Universal. So like, I do technically own MCA, and so there's got to be a way for me to go through and get like old staff directories, right? That's not going to be like a weird request for me to.
Yeah, I don't think so. But the problem is we don't know what her title was or what her actual name was, and maybe Mark was. Going for a older woman or a much younger woman. You never know.
So I'm just going to look up. I'm going to try to get an MCA staff directory for when was the Poo Poo Pee Pee tour?
I think it was 98. Let me check.
I'm gonna bring some documents into the mix. I'm gonna contribute.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it was 98. It was from July to October of 98.
Okay, so this person could have worked, let's call it 97, 98, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right. So maybe we'll have exclusivity. We're going to find her and see what was really happening in that bay, on that boat.
Right. Tell us who was harboring what.
Were you saying, oh yeah, in pleasure, or were you crying because he was playing Parappa?
Imagine if it was Parappa, though. Or, like, even if it was just PlayStation. I think we'd still be pretty impressed with ourselves.
The other, like, kind of weird thing, I mean, I get it, but when you write something this personal and then it's something that people obsess over forever, is like, now the bridge, which works with the song, but obviously lyrically is, like, pretty dumb. Just him saying, I'll be moving on over and over again. The annotation on this is basically, like, good thing he didn't date MCA Records girl because then he met his future wife, Sky, on the All the Small Things video. So maybe he really did move on after all. You know, that kind of vibe. It's like,
that's so weird, yeah.
It's kind of bizarre.
Yeah. No, that's weird. But we should talk about the bridge because the bridge is insanely fucking sick.
Yeah, I like it.
Like, to me, this was, again, when we were at the Anima show, like, a couple of weeks ago, like, that just, like, when it happens live, too, like, this is such a fun live song. I don't know. That's it. That's all I have to say about the bridge. It sounds great. It's a fun vibe. I like to hear it with my friends.
It's on the demo as well, but I don't know if it's worth playing because there's a lot of shit to play. Instead, because you've just said... I mean, all I'll say about the demo is that the first upload of it sounds way too slow, so then somebody else uploaded and they're like, I fixed it, it's the right speed, but it sounds kind of chipmunky, so I'm too confused about what's the definitive demo version.
Well, you'd never want to, make any error or omission on this podcast, so...
Exactly. But instead I'm going to play, and I don't even think... Okay, this is from 1998 at the University of Montreal.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is the second leg of the Poo Poo Pee Pee tour, meaning Travis has replaced Scott. This video is so sick because it's been like de-interlaced or whatever, so it just looks like a hip Palace skateboard video or something now.
Oh my god, this is so sick.
Good.
People are losing their fucking minds. They're playing in front of the old, like, Nazi bunny banner.
Yeah, and obviously Enema wasn't out yet either.
But people are losing their shit like this is their favorite song of all time.
I know, it's so good. Mark's got a sick ringer tee on.
Like, imagine being this pumped for a song you're hearing for the first time. So are there videos from earlier in the tour where Scott plays it?
Good question, Sam.
I'll take a look.
But you can kind of hear Tom singing along. It is one of those songs that it sounds like the quintessential Blink-182 song when you hear it.
It's so sick. The only video I can find is Mutt, original version, with Scott on drums, rare, which does not feel like one of those things that's real.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. But whatever. It doesn't really matter because there's also... Even before they started playing Enema all the time, They have been playing this song occasionally with Matt Skiba, and they play it on this like incredibly embarrassing iHeartRadio thing. Like, I just don't even understand. This is from 2016. I don't even understand this interviewer. Like, he seriously seems like he's from Musique Plus in 1998. Like, he's just so it's just so funny. I love it. I love that we're like part of the radio world now, and I'm looking forward to all kinds of new people that I can start fights with.
Yeah, that's true. Who's gonna block you next?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like, I just want to play a little bit of this banter at the start before they play the song, because it's,
you know, it's all good, and I'm not like boasting or being stuck up or conceited. It's really a great album that I'm proud of.
Nothing wrong to be proud of your work. Is there any chance that we're going to hear these songs, the songs that were written before the album, Mark, or the songs that didn't quite make the album? You said that there's a lot left over that don't appear on the record.
We've talked. The only way that we could make peace with
This
letting
interview is all
songs not be
happening,
on the
like, on
album
stage
was
in
telling
front of a
ourselves
crowd
that they
while
were going to be
they're
on an
getting ready to
EP. So we're hoping to do that at some point in the future.
Awkward.
And if not, then those songs will definitely become the film.
New album today, right now.
It's coming out on Friday.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
You ready for these songs to be out there?
I am, yeah. I think they might already be out there, but yeah, the physical.
oh, the real punker addresses the leak.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, but
You're not
there's-
supposed to talk about the leak.
Whoever's uploaded this, it's like there was like a weird skip, so it's very edited. But even the edited version of this talking, it's a full minute and a half of this guy on stage. It's like, get out of here,
Oh my god! I just
get
like,
away.
This top comment. God damn, this crowd sucks. If I saw them play an old song like Wendy Clear, I'd be going nuts. And I'm just like thinking about the context. This was just like incredibly sterile sort of studio, probably ice fucking cold, probably 10 in the morning. And just like it's an iHeart crowd. Like, I don't know where they get these people from. And just the idea of there being one guy losing his fucking mind, just going absolutely bananas.
I was dying looking at the crowd who was at the recent Good Morning America appearance. It
Oh
was
yeah,
so
it's
good.
so sick.
Just like the oldest man wearing a Blink-182 t-shirt, like so incredibly ancient.
That's what we look like, dude.
Yeah,
That's
it was,
us.
It was me, actually. I went and I forgot. This is
Because
them
you're
playing
so
on
old.
iHeartRadio. This is from 2016.
Not a chance, my friend.
Someone said, "Mark, show us your butt." That's fucking funny.
Man, also uploaded by an Indonesian fan page.
They sound incredible, actually.
It's so good. It's again, I think it's just like not. The song should be easy to play, and like Matt's taking over bits, and it just sounds so great.
Yeah, like maybe it speaks to the authenticity you were explaining too, where it's like it doesn't sound weird for them to play it now, because now I definitely believe that he has a boat.
yeah. That's it. When he sings a song, he's not thinking necessarily about, again, this sort of awkward thing that we're talking about, where it's like, oh, this is a love song for a woman who's kind of, or a wanting song for a woman who's not his wife. But he's probably just in total boat mode, man. Like he's thinking about his old boat.
He fucking loves that boat.
He loves that, and who can blame him? I want to look up. I want to try. You do what you got to do. I'm going to look up Mark Hoppus Wendy boat.
You should buy a boat while we're doing the episode.
I'm gonna
before the
live buy a
episode's
boat.
You've bought a boat. That'd be so cool. Well, okay. He named it Wendy, and you know how the original title of What's My Age Again was Peter Pan Complex?
Oh, yeah.
Just like so much worse. And so because of that, there's multiple Reddit posts where people think that at the end of What's My Age Again, when it sounds like they're saying please stay with me, they think that he's saying please stay Wendy, and then it fits the original concept of the song, and then they're like, everyone like keeps saying that, and then they find the isolated vocal track, and it's like clearly not that. So there's multiple threads where you can just watch someone kind of be crushed by their theory falling apart. But either way, Mark fucking loves Disney.
Yeah, that's like part of his personality, right?
I think it's a big part. Yeah, Disney and Pokemon Go.
Dude, like literally a week ago, Ashley and I were like walking up our street, and there was like a bunch of people standing at a corner, like next to a parking lot, and I was like, I have to know if these are like if people are still playing Pokemon Go, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Why are you guys here? And they're like, Pokemon Go, and like in July 2019, people are still like. Swarming, having flash mobs, Pokemon flash mobs. Shocking.
It's very fucked. I don't know. Have you found anything about Mark Hoppus and his boat?
No, I'm searching like Mark Hoppus yacht now.
I just found this. Sarah with an H, Abby, tweeted in 2014, casually waved at Mark Hoppus while I was on a boat. We are besties now. I think he likes me more than I like him.
You should retweet that. Just weird this person out.
But either way, do you think that Mark was also on a boat and they were passing each other in the canal?
But that's the thing. It's hard
whatever?
to say. Or like, again, were they in a canal and he was on the, he was potentially on the non-water part of a canal, the land.
Right.
Damn, I'm pretty far down in a search trying to get photos of Mark Hoppus even on a boat.
I think I really do think that like a nautical Vampire Weekend LP1 look would really suit Mark a lot, actually.
Yeah, that's.
He's got to mix it up. He's got to stop dressing like a coder, which is really what he dresses like. I think
he gives off extreme, coder vibes. Maybe I don't know why you would write a song about your boat and then not like take pictures of your boat and share them for us to look at.
Is writing a song about your boat more of a flex, maybe?
Absolutely. Because a picture, like, I could take a picture on any boat, but, like, for me to have, like, such a intimate relationship with my boat that it, like, figures into my creative process. I mean, that's...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. That's beyond a flex.
I can't believe
know
this song is so nautical. I didn't realize that going into this.
But, like again, not metaphorically nautical, just literally not...
Nauteral.
Nauteral.
Well, I did find that there's a band called Wendy Clear.
Oh, are
of
they
course.
sick?
Well, do you want to find out?
Uh-huh.
Okay. This is Wendy Clear with their song Call Come Summer. Call Come Summer is the name of the song, I guess. Call Come Summer. Really quite a confusing title. Whoa. I think this music sounds like what you were describing of why I don't want to like Wendy Clear.
Yeah, this is what you think Wendy Clear sounds like. In that sense, this band has the perfect name. Like, I hear that, I think of a thing, and it's just like, damn, that's great branding, Wendy Clear. But it's also like reminds me of when I'm like, I just want to like listen to more music that kind of sounds like all the shit that I'm like a little sick of because I've been listening to it for my entire fucking life, and I'll find some like Apple Music playlist that's like shred the gnar with these like contemporary skate punk jams, and then you put it on and it's all songs like that, and you're like, they're not bad. It's just like it doesn't resonate with me. It's like It's an approximation of a thing that we both love, but like I think you'll probably admit that's probably not something that you are excited to return to either.
Shots fired at your friend that makes Apple Music playlists for
No, I'm not. He doesn't make that playlist too.
You made sure not to name drop his ones.
No, I'll talk about his great playlist. If anyone's on Apple Music, be sure to listen to Negative Space. It is without a doubt the best playlist on Apple Music.
Well, I don't know. I want to hear Shred the Gnar.
Yeah.
It's true though. There's something that happens where you're like trying to chase the high of like a childhood feeling, and then you find something that's just sort of like on paper it's the same, but it's just not.
And again, I really think like I feel like through this process we've done a fairly good job of like interrogating the difference between like nostalgia and quality, and I do feel confident saying that like certainly like I love this song because it's good and I listened to it 1,000 fucking times at a very important part of my life, but also like it's objectively good. Like it's good today.
Yeah. Yeah, other than the stanky organ, I think I agree.
Turn up the organ. I want like a 2009, remix remaster that's just all organ, like organ right to the front.
2009 remix?
Yeah. Listen, I'm not trying to be greedy. I want it to be from 10 years ago.
All right. So the other thing that I wanted to show you is I can't actually figure out. It must be inspired by Blink, but the vocals are so bad that it's like really confusing, and also. I'm just really lost. So this is a band called Pinch.
Logo-wise, though, again, context clues are telling me this is about Blink's Wendy Clear, or that's the reference.
I think so, but maybe coming at it from like an alt-rock vibe rather than a pop-punk vibe.
Yeah.
Which is the weird thing about like the middle ground Blink stuff that appeals to everyone, is that then you meet people who are like only like Chevelle and Blink-182 or something. Yeah. So this song is called Who Killed Wendy Clear? And I think, like, musically, definitely you can hear it.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, they're definitely... I was really hoping it would actually be about Wendy Clear, but it's not. Don't care if it's wrong or right. Don't care about nothing now, 'cause you are right by my side. Trust me, won't lie to you. Trust me, everything is true. Trust me about anything, 'cause you are right by my side. The purest thing you know. Wow. Okay, wait, I've marked another spot in the song where it gets very good. I think around here. That was
cool. I mean, that's a journey.
Who Killed Wendy Clear from the band Pinch.
Damn. Pinch me. Am I dreaming? I love it.
It sounded like Wendy Clear sort of as interpreted by all of the guys in Collective Soul who are all named Ed in my mind.
Is that true? I think they're all brothers, but rather than sharing the same last name,
they're all share the same first name. It's like Ed and Eddie or whatever. Is that what it is?
Yeah. It's like Tony, like Ed, Eddie. Also, they are from Steinfurt, Germany. So
Pinches.
Yeah, that also explains a little bit of like what's happening there vocally. It's like just imagine it's a couple of lads from Steinfurt.
From where, sorry?
No. This is like as bad as I'm tuning the radio. Bad old-timey radio fucking comedy.
We've got a lot of covers to get into in a second.
Okay.
But
yeah,
first,
of course we do.
I want to show you this 13-minute guitar lesson that a boy uploaded.
This is not a boy. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe sort of maybe a young adult.
Yeah, that's fair. He's definitely like read Wendy Clear. Is excited about the film adaptation.
Yeah, the Hulu original film.
Yeah, it got his parents Hulu locked
Directed by, written by Diablo Cody's roommate, I think. This is uploaded by Juan Arciniega. This is my first video lesson. And the thing about, they have not put these two words together. So I thought that it said, yes, I know I have no thumb. But actually it says, yes, I have no thumbnail picture for this. So a few seconds ago, I was very excited that it was going to be that he had no thumb. But
It's just a differently abled guitar lesson.
it's pretty adorable
You
either
guys
way.
gotta play Wendy Clear by Blink-182. It's a pretty fun song and simple to play. Off the album Enemy of the State. This is my first video lesson, so if I make any mistakes, bear with me. So let's get started.
I don't know if I want to like
first things
bear with
first, I'm gonna show you
someone
guys an intro.
in a lesson.
The intro you played about 8 times. It's gonna revolve around the A string and the D string. You wanna make sure your addition is turned on first. Alright, so you're gonna go, you start with 3rd fret A string. You're gonna go 5th fret on the D string. You go back to the 3rd fret on the A string. Then you go 5th fret on the A string. And then you go 3rd fret on the D string. And then you go 2nd fret on the D string. Alright, when you put all of that together, it should sound like this.
Oh yes.
Now, if you can't exactly play it up to speed, that's okay. Just take your time. But when you
Oh
can,
yeah.
play it
I
up to
love one. This is the
It's
best.
so cute.
Like just like don't worry, we'll all get there on our own time. Like
It's
I
so
love his tone.
encouraging.
It's so sweet.
It's so kind. And someone did. The only comment is, I mean, I'm not gonna be honest with Juan here. The playing is a little sloppy, particularly for the teacher. This is a true example of those that can't do teach, I think. But that said, someone did comment, hey, just wanted to tell you how thankful I am for this lesson. Been searching for a while, and yours is the most helpful. If you're
Aw.
up for it, I'd say make some more tutorials. So it's all around just like very sweet and kind.
What a kind time that we're having here.
But then when I go to Juan's page, I see that he seems to have
He's been
given up.
radicalized. He's like all right now.
Not quite, but he sort of like, that was 5 years ago, and the most recent thing he's done is he's created a playlist called Sad Boy with an I, and it's mostly just Triple X Tentacion videos. So he's kept up with the times for better or for worse, so to speak. But yeah, he's kind of done with, it seems like he's done with the guitar tutorial videos and more about like, and what's it called? Anime music videos for Triple X Tentacion. So,
Okay,
you know.
well.
I definitely don't want to ever make a joke about Triple X Tentacion because I don't know if you saw what happened, but somebody made a joke about him dying on Comedy Central, and then she like had to like delete her Twitter or something because everyone lost their shit.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I can't remember her name. This American comedian like made a joke about how Triple X Tentacion dying while selling a car for $50,000 cash was like really sad, but also a good ad for Venmo. And
That's a pretty good joke.
yeah, I mean, I not many people thought it was very funny. She had to like go into hiding. Her name is Dina Hashem. So
Wow,
that-
we're just like coming out here using her government name. What the fuck, dude?
well, that she's like apologizing in the media now.
You should be able to make fun of people for dying.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
Glad we're
that
on the
was,
same page.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of the most epic fail of them all, really.
Hell yeah.
to use the music parlance of one Sam Sutherland.
Yeah, just make sure you talk about how groovy it is to die also.
So,
Wait,
I feel
what?
like this band might be in the nation, to be honest.
I think so, yeah.
Like, I don't know.
They were
and
supposed to open for Blink when they played at like
yeah,
Caesar's
when they-
Palace in Windsor, I think. And then that show
That's
got
true.
canceled.
Yeah, so this band Seaway that I know nothing about and I don't want to insult anyone seems like probably not my preferred thing, but also I could be convinced because they're on a Punk Goes Pop compilation,
Right,
which I
but also
fucking
like
love.
you saying, like you being like, I'm not gonna say what I think about this band because I don't want anyone to get offended. It's like, well, you're saying your opinion then. Like you're kind of
Yeah, I'm saying they rock and they're good.
okay, good.
No, I just think that Seaway is sort of the kind of music that like I've just never interacted with. It seems like the kind of pop punk that's for people that have those backpacks that are like little sacks with strings for do you know what I'm talking about? Instead of straps, there's like a little like pouch with 2 shoelace strings.
Yeah.
That's like a kind of pop punk person to me that I'm like, I'm too old for that. I don't understand this shit.
Okay.
How do you make a sack with strings into a backpack and you're gonna walk around telling me about Seaway and defend pop punk and stuff? I don't know about this kind of shit.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting take. I mean,
But this cover does sound pretty sick. So they covered Closer by the
Right.
Chainsmokers.
Not-
Chainsmokies.
not necessarily the song we're talking about today. Just
Well,
like
you'll-
a song you like.
Just keep with me here. And I've noticed that you've completely stayed out of sharing your opinion of the band Seaway.
I'll be honest. I don't know Seaway, so I don't have an opinion. I mean, I know them. I know that they exist.
Yeah, I've never heard them. I'm just picturing their name written in lowercase cursive on the floppy beanie of someone who's wearing one of those string sack backpacks.
Do the Sack Boys wear beanies though? And why are you calling it a beanie? Like, do you mean a toque?
Yeah, but when it's floppy, to me, it becomes a beanie. You know what I mean?
That's not right.
Look, I spend all of my time in a windowless dark room.
Okay, that's just
I'm
like
a middle-aged
beanie.
man.
Like, what the fuck?
I don't know what's going on. I'm basically becoming Larry Heather at this point. I'm just completely out of touch with reality and
Yeah.
spouting off my opinions into the void, and yet people keep egging me on. It's much worse. Anyways, they've covered the wonderful Chainsmokies and Halsey song "Closer" for Fearless Punk Goes Pop Volume 7, and they did a little Easter egg for the true heads out there.
Okay.
Here we go.
Insane. Stay and play that Blink 182 song that we beat to death in Tucson, okay? I know it breaks your heart off the city.
You hear it?
Yeah, that was
Pretty
nice.
clever.
Nice little bon mot there, Seaway.
I feel like it's weird. A weird.
Beanies
Also,
off to you, Seaway.
it's an interesting first impression to be on these compilations because, like, then are people expecting all of your songs to sound? Maybe they do all sound like this. I don't know.
They're all Smoky Boys.
I don't want to know. There was that band on Fearless Records that covered, I think, Kanye Mercy, and they like definitely said the N-word.
I feel like all those, like for the first like 7 Punk Goes Pop, anytime that like a swoop haircut man could use the N-word, they did.
Right.
This might have been, this is on Punk
Do
Goes
better.
Pop Volume 7, so this might have been the first like N-word free Punk Goes Pop compilation.
Well, there's no, and I don't think the Chainsmokies have ever said the N-word. So
No, and I'm
we're
sure
safe.
Seaway don't. They're like good Canadian boys, friends
Yeah.
friends of the pod.
Friends of the pod.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be like casting around here. It's not right.
I mean, you have been messaging me some very dubious shit about them while we've been talking.
Yeah. All the goss is going on in the G chat.
This one has popped up on, so this is like on all of the comps, as like, as like fucking Gen Xers like to say, instead of saying lots, and they're like, I had all of the whiskey.
Oh
today.
right, yeah. I was like, what are you fucking
We
talking
had
about?
all of the fun. This
Yeah.
song is on all of the comps, and so it's also on the Pacific Ridge Records one, which I feel like is a little bit older. And I just thought, Seaway, and then the next band is called Far Away.
Oh, great transition,
So
man.
Lots of ways you could go with this one.
Might be appropriate because of the way I think it's stuck, oh yeah.
Like, what is the point of this? Why do this?
Again, it seems like one of those things that's like super fun to do and you're just like hanging out with your pals, but then it's not like worth committing to tape or hard drive
like if you know someone's going to be putting out a comp, don't you want to flex a little bit? I mean, maybe Far Away just sounds like this again, but like it just makes me want to listen to the song.
Yeah. So in that sense, job well done. Thank you, Far Away.
Let's see if there's like some stupid Cookie Monster growl breakdown or something. No, just like Far Away. Far Away, so close to quote a Wim Wenders film.
Wow. Amazing work.
Another comp that's part of all of the comps is this one that was like all these like new emo math rock bands we've talked about at least once before. It was put out by Enjoyment Records called I Guess Is Growing Up Volume 1. I don't know if they ever did Volume 2, but I think we played like
I don't remember this at all. Slingshot Dakota's on this?
Yeah, what did they do? Stay Together for the Kids. We haven't done that yet, but we did definitely play the Adam song.
Oh, yeah,
Dads.
It was good. That was good.
Yeah, and Invalids Lemmings, I remember being like crazy mathy.
Yeah, I'm going to download this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So this one is by a band called Tur Asleen, which is really good. Probably like some sort of literary reference or something, but so many emo bands just really sound like someone mashing the keyboard, you know?
Yeah, sorry, I'm distracted. I was buying it.
Why haven't you bought your boat yet?
You know what? Boats cost more than Pay What You Can on Bandcamp. There's no Pay What You Can boats, man. Wait, hold on.
This is Tur Asleen. Tell like what they're going for totally, but I do love especially how giant those drums sound.
Yeah, that was just like the sort of new guitar riff that was there. That was cool.
Yeah, they definitely added to it. I just like seeing the comp. I was reminded of like the insane mathiness of the other songs, so I was expecting it to be a little bit more out there, but it definitely was cool. And man, I just feel like I could stare at the cover of this compilation forever.
It's so sick. For some reason, I remember listening to those songs. Like, I really remember the Dad's cover, but now that I'm like seeing it all together, I'm just downloading it now. This is great.
Yeah, I love that there's the person has the American football album cover and the Sunny Day Real Estate one above their bed.
All the classics, baby.
All the classics. Okay, and so keeping it in sort of the new emo realm, I don't really know what I'm talking about at all, but I'm pretty sure that this guy used to be in The World Is a Beautiful Place, and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die. I looked it up.
Oh, shit.
This artist, Spirit Night, and they seem to be collaborating with Roswell Kid here, who I think is someone that's also like niche adjacent.
Really? That would be sick. That band is extremely sick.
Never listened.
I think you would actually really. I think that's a band you would legitimately like. They're like very poppy, like it's sort of like pop punk, but like in a very Josiah way.
I just can't tell because this is from an album called The Mark, Tom, and Travis and Dylan and Jordan Show. Very funny name, and it's by Roswell Kid / Spirit Night, and so Spirit Night seems to be Dylan, formerly of The World Is a Beautiful Place. Look, I don't know. All I know is this is their cover of Wendy Clear. It's either Dylan or Roswell Kid or both or Spirit Night. I'm not sure who this is.
Okay, cool.
pretty rad. I think they might do something later on. Now, it's pretty straightforward, but it sounds really nice and like...
yeah, this is a fun song to cover. I feel like I want to, like, cover it. I was trying to think of like a better word. That's all I want to do, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. And there's a lot you can do with it, and I liked how that one was very kind of raw sounding. So shout out to, I think, Spirit Night, or Lord knows who we're talking about.
Just shout out everybody,
Yeah, congrats to everyone. Okay, up next, this one was one that like was on the Reddit where people like check out our cover, and I'm always especially mean to those ones. But this one was really interesting, actually. This band is called Worth Taking, and this is from May 31st of this year. It's even, I think it's so new that it says premiered May 31st, which I think is a new thing on YouTube where you can like click premiere or something. I don't
also,
know.
like, is Worth Taking, like, it's just like, oh, this candy is worth taking? Or is it like, I am the worth taker. I am now in the act of worth taking. Taking your worth,
Right. Yeah, it's kind of a weird band name. I almost
Worth
like it.
taker is more of a metal thing, I think.
Yeah. That's really mean, too, to take someone's self-worth.
I know, that's fucked up. That's dark.
I would never do such a thing. Okay, here we go.
Take the boat out on the bay, forget your job for just one day. I wish it didn't have to be so bad.
It's like weird, like mid-tempo.
Either way, our band gets stuck, oh yeah. I wish it didn't have to be so bad. But I play with fire to break the ice.
And also it sounds so much like Mark.
And I play with
This is
a
sick.
nuclear device. This is something I'll regret. But do I want what I can't get? I wish it didn't have to be so bad.
Is this what Deep Elm bands sound like?
No, people bands I feel like were always jankier. This feels like early Hopeless. Like, this feels like a band that could have been on Hopeless when like Dillinger 4 were on Hopeless.
Okay, yeah.
No, it's too shiny for like true Deep Elm. Although I feel like Deep Elm
Right.
is like still a label somehow.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. I've only listened to Blink-182 and then like Lightning Bolt my whole life, basically.
I mean, it seems like you've led like a fairly fulfilling existence.
Yeah, especially when I'm talking to you on this podcast. Mm-hmm. Deep into the covers. This one, okay, wait, maybe I'm not doing this in the best order. I was thinking, like, I was putting my chef hat again on, as I used to do. Yeah, before we do this one, actually, I want to do one more sort of, like, true pop-punk vibe before we get into some weird shit.
Oh, hell yes.
So this one,
yes.
I mean, I don't even understand this, or if it's ironic or not. It is so cool looking. I'm obsessed with the album art. It's so fucking janky.
Yeah. But it rides a very thin line where I can't tell if it's...
Yeah, like the band is called...
Yeah.
The band is called Team Sack Lunch, and the record is called Sack Up, and it's like this shitty pencil crayon drawing that like this truly could be the Coneheads or like Lumpy Records kind of vibe. Like it could be some hip ass Terminal Boredom shit, or it could be like some Dungeons and Dragons dorks hanging out. And
Yeah,
I
it's
literally have
impossible to
no
tell.
idea. I think musically it definitely seems... So they have a bunch of... the first song is called Intro to Slams Town, which I guess is like a Killer's reference maybe. And there's a song called George Clooney as well, but otherwise it's all Blink-182 covers of just big hits. So here's Team Sack Lunch with their cover of Wendy Clear.
Let's take a boat out on the bay, forget your job for just one day. I wish it didn't have to be so bad. It might be inappropriate because either way our band gets up, oh yeah. I wish it didn't have to be so bad. But I play with fire to break the ice. And I play with a nuclear device. Is it something I'll regret? Or do I want what didn't have to be so bad.
There's definitely no bass that I can hear, which is the ultimate teen move to just be like, we probably don't need it. No one will notice.
No one knows what the bass does.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good.
So, like, I still can't tell what the intended outcome was. Like, this just exists in this sort of like strange vacuum somewhere between like deliberately. I don't know. I'm infatuated with this. It's incredible.
Yeah, like everyone, please go to teamsacklunch.bandcamp.com because the art is something to behold on its own.
Yeah, it's so sick.
This, I mean, maybe it's because when you were talking about drumming along to a record earlier and then seeing this everything is feeling very Freaks and Geeks to me right now.
Yeah,
like I feel like this is totally like Sam's band or something.
Sam's band. Yeah, this is like
not you. I'm talking Sam Weir.
No, this is like I'm just like also relating to it deeply and just feeling a very real connection. But yeah, this is like the Lost season 2.
Yeah, where they get it jumps like 10 years forward and they all get into pop punk, but they haven't aged.
Yeah, totally.
It's kind of a sci-fi vibe.
Yeah.
Okay, this other one. Okay, the next one. Now we'll play the last video that I sent you, which I'm just baffled by. I can't figure out where this is, but again, impossible to tell the year. It looks like they're playing in a wrestling pen outside of a prison or something.
This looks like a Metallica video set.
It definitely looks like the Saint Anger video.
Yeah. This is weird.
And it's uploaded by Massimiliano Ilia in 2008, live at Liceo Mercelli or something. I don't know. I'm trying to see what that is. Maybe it's a school?
Yeah, it could be like this could be a school. Yeah, it's in Giuseppe Marcalli Scientific High School. So this is in Naples, Italy.
So I guess they're outside their high school, but like honestly, it's impossible to tell. There's some crazy zooming.
Well,
it's
not really impossible to tell. They've labeled the location and we found it.
You're right. Yeah,
highly possible. Actually,
but visually, this could be like anywhere because even he's wearing the checkerboard hoodie. Like it could be from last year. They're wearing baggy clothes. The drummer's wearing like one of those like Sigur Rós hats.
Yeah, it's true. It definitely like exists in like a weird like place in space and time. I think that's a fair assessment.
I also feel like it's truly like in non-North America countries where like, oh, some teens learned some songs and they're gonna play them for us. Let's all attend and give them our full attention and watch the whole thing.
This is the way it should be.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Italy respects teens.
I remember going to a show at the 13th Note in Glasgow, and it was like Pregnancy Scares were playing. I must have talked about this before, but and actually Mark Hoppus played at 13th Note once when he was producing for this Scottish band. But anyways, like all the openers for Pregnancy Scares were like just kind of like like there was like a ska band and a pop punk band and then like a hardcore band, and everyone watched every single band and bought merch from everyone. I was like, what the fuck?
Who are these
That was
freaks?
like the birth of Ernest season, I think, for me. A little bit.
Good to get a bit of like Josiah origins going on the pod.
Yeah, so let's watch these boys play in what looks like an abandoned factory prison wrestling ring, but is actually a school.
Yeah, this is like the set of Death Race 5.
Feedback.
A lot of prison sound system is not up to snuff. Great speed.
The nuance of those weird punchy bits really gets lost if you're.
A lot of people really losing their shit though in the crowd and like trying to mosh.
It seems like the PA is like 15 different kinds of monitors all connected to one another.
They're also just like jammed in a corner of this entire huge stage. Like they're in the upper left corner. There's like half a stage in front of them.
There's so many people watching. I want to play here.
Let's next live show should be in Liceo Mercalli.
It makes me think of, to bring it back to the Locust season, it makes me think of Munoz Gym, I think it's called, in California, which is like a boxing ring in the middle of nowhere that bands would play in. I know Beeline's played there once, and I was like, fuck, that's so cool. But yeah, I love this video. It's insane.
Yeah, I want to go there.
And also it says that it's half a cover, so I don't know if they just sort of like fuck up. Oh yeah, they just give up halfway through. And then this, okay, the universal thing that a drummer does when the song cuts off early is absolutely this.
Perfect. It's actually honestly how the song should have ended.
I agree. So that was that one. Very strange. But it gets stranger. So we were talking about PlayStation earlier. I did not plan for this to happen, but this dear cover here from the user Styx Fan. Shout out to Styx.
Cool, Styx rocks.
STYX.
Yeah.
Another Freaks and Geeks reference actually as well in the first episode. But so Styx Fan has used audio from his own Little Big Planet level.
What?
To make the song. I didn't know that you could even make your own level, let alone like make audio. But that's like that game where you're like a little voodoo doll type creature. I think.
Yeah, but that's because you always see it's like Dizzy Rascal made a record on a PlayStation, but it wasn't like he made a custom Little Big Planet level and then sampled that, and that's where grime comes from.
Also, I love Styx Fan's photo is like so terrifying. Just like
it's like very like this is the only shot that we have of the killer.
Yeah, exactly. Just sort of like I don't even know, like half of the back of his face. Terrifying. But this is what it sounds like through the audio of Little Big Planet.
Oh yeah. So sick. Little Big Planet rocks.
Yeah, I mean, I picture that game as being like a little bit more HD. This sounded so MIDI. It sounded like some Super Nintendo shit. I don't know. I guess I'm not enough of a gamer. I'll try to change that.
Yeah, you should game more, man. You're just playing your Marios and your whatever.
You've like never played a video game, have you?
No, it's like the one. Look at I love talking about the friend zone, and I have a lot of like really sort of like problematic internal takes. But mercifully, becoming a gamer has never been an affliction for me.
Oh, it's too bad.
I know.
We could game together.
Yeah, that would imagine if like instead of just like constantly chatting and then also like literally spending hours on the phone together every week, we also were like, all right, I'm logged on. Let's
do duos in Call of Duty. I will say this. I'm a very casual gamer, and I always play like just dumb jock games that sort of work in 10-minute increments. I don't like to sit down. Well, I do play them for many hours, but I get ADD if I'm playing some like long, slow-burning game.
Don't you play the horse game?
Yeah, I did play the horse game, but it was very painful to finish because it's got so slow and like felt like I was reading. I was like, fuck this.
Ew.
But now I'm just playing like Call of Duty again and like NHL. Like I'm just like a full on jock. But I always love to have like a funny gamer tag. And when I switched to PlayStation because I wanted to play Spider-Man, God, I'm such a nerd. My gamer tag, I couldn't believe they allowed it, and I'm giving this away. You can add me if you want. I'm not going to play with you, though.
I hope everyone starts playing games with you, man.
But my gamer tag is literally Dude Ranchers Cum. They allowed it. They don't allow any sort of cusses, but it got through their filter, the phrase cum.
Cum shouldn't be allowed.
I know, right? Speaking of cum, I've just sent you an DeviantArt link of some.
Oh wow!
Frankly,
I was hoping it was going to be like a Load style. Like here's a Blink-182 painting made Blink-182. Okay. I'll stop.
made of cum. That's the thing you don't see very often is cum art. But I'm sure someone has done a cum tribute to this photo because it's a very sensual enema nurse portrait done in a brony style. She's got a garter belt on, and the brony boys are all built. I'm getting my breath is getting taken by how hot this is.
Okay.
I need a minute over here. But this artwork was made for a cover that I would assume has been bullied offline. But there's still a preview available. So, like, and it's kind of weird because, like, I guess My Little Pony does have its own sort of genre of music and style of covers, but...
Yeah, this was like a very early This Exists episode.
You find the brony covers and, like, they just kind of, like, sing in, like, a normal... I mean, it's usually very operatic, but otherwise there's no distinguishing audio.
Yeah. But it's, I mean, it is like a general sort of tone and approach, and then the imagery is obviously, you gotta sell it that way.
So this is uploaded by Prince Whateverer. It's Prince Whateverer and CG Scrambles. This is the preview for the cover that has since been removed, I would assume, because of bullying. But so here's just a little 12-second snippet.
Let's take the photo of the baby, get your job for just one day. I wish it didn't have to be so bad.
I mean...
Yeah. I get it.
You sent me...
I'm more distracted by trying to find cum art right now.
Okay. The woman who makes art out of semen.
Yeah, the show is called Sub/Emissions.
Wow, this actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah, this is like really high quality cum art. I thought it'd be, kitschier, but it's, kind of just like, abstract, kind of like she's colored it. It's like a Jackson Pollock.
It's like a Jack and Pollock is what it is.
Great work, man.
Thank you. I don't remember what this one is. There's a lot of covers though. Sorry. I know that you had to. I don't know what you had to do tonight other than this.
This was my big plan.
This is uploaded by Blink-182 Pika 2. So I think that's a Pikachu joke. These people just look like downright fucking jokers. They've got their Mac photo booth background going on with some funny hats, and they've done a cover of Wendy Clear, and it sounds like this. Because of when I was taking guitar lessons, I learned about 12-bar blues, and I used to like do stanky solos. I cannot deal with that ding 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 ding. It's so gross to me now. Ooh, that kind of guitar.
Just lets you know that the solos are coming, baby.
Let's take the boat out on the bay. Forget your job for just one day. I wish it didn't have to be so bad.
So you told me that you're like back into musicals. In a big way.
I saw Little Shop of Horrors on the weekend. I'm getting very excited about the notion of like the musical that I wrote a million years ago being staged in Halifax later in August. And so I've just been like returning in a major way to like musical scores.
Because I feel like it gets this cover gets very musical-y to me.
Okay.
At this point.
3-day theory is getting old. Everyone's getting left out in the cold. Wish it didn't have to be so bad.
It's like the guy who works at the bait shop on the dock after hours, like snapping.
Right, yeah. It could be like, I mean, it's got like West Side Story energy to it for sure.
Yeah, true.
Wish it didn't have to be so bad. But I played with fire to break the ice.
That's quite enough of that one for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I get it.
Whew. This next one is mostly, again, for the audio medium. Unfortunately, it's more about the single art, which is just
what the fuck?
Unbelievable. So this is from the band Hurricanes with an exclamation mark from their album
Party Rockers.
Party Rockers. And they're just such bros. One of them is wearing a shirt that in all caps says, "You need this shit."
Yeah, full block, whole front of the shirt. Yeah.
Like, these people definitely listen to I'm on a Boat every single day.
Yeah. Only
without
one
question.
of them is in, like, those, like, plaid shorts, but they all could be wearing plaid shorts.
Yeah, they're all in their own form of plaid shorts. It's supposedly a live recording. I don't know. It seems like it could be a fake live recording though with these jokers.
Yeah, I don't trust these Party Rockers. And this is from the Emergenza Festival, the festival for unsigned bands wanting more. Okay, what is that? Like, where are they from? Because they look English.
You know how when Power Pop got really huge in like the punk scene and then everyone was singing with a fake British accent? It'd be so funny if like the next big trend in music was everyone started singing like a very Italian man trying to sing in an American accent.
Yeah, that
was like all like this.
Yeah. Oh, Hurricanes. I don't like Hurricanes. I don't like these particular Party Rockers.
I think they're cool. I want to go to this fest for unsigned bands. I think thinks they got signed.
Oh,
one.
Yeah, off of that, the quality of that cover. You actually should definitely go to the Emergenza Festival for unsigned bands wanting more. Like, it sounds like the only music festival that you might conceivably enjoy.
That's true. That's so true. Maybe I should just start going to like all the like sad Canadian music industry things that are available to me.
Yeah,
also.
you got to embrace the opportunities that your profession affords you.
Maybe I should sign up for Sonic Bids and just like check out everyone's like.
You never know what you're
profiles.
gonna find, man. If you like real indie music, that's the only way to get it.
Yeah, that's true. But all those people spell it INDY. That's how you know.
Yeah.
Okay, this is by Tim Shriver. And it has some really epic art. I think Tim Shriver's band is maybe called After the Battle. And there's like corpses on here and shit.
Wow.
That's fucked, bro.
That's fucking too much for me, man.
Yeah, tone it down a little. To go with this, though? Like, what?
Okay.
I think he learned the riff from that YouTube guitar
He's
tutorial.
like, this is it, I got it.
Let's take the boat out on the bed, forget our job for just one day.
Oh, yeah, this one.
Wish it didn't have to be so bad.
Very Kyle Mooney energy.
Yeah.
Might be inappropriate because either way our biggest dropped, oh yeah. I wish it didn't have to be so bad. But I play with the fire to break the ice. And I play with the nuclear device.
Not what I pictured from the artwork, like at all.
I love
I'm
it.
shocked.
The song is truly for everyone. It's so, like, it translates into weird incel bedroom death Kyle Mooney music, and it also can be this beautiful acoustic cover that I'm about to play.
Oh, I love it.
You know, it can be anywhere. So this is by S.T. Manville from his album Somebody Else's Song. Whoops. Didn't mean to play it so early, but you can already tell it's got a beautiful tone. There's some very shitty acoustic versions of this, but this one is just like, whew.
Well, you are known for only ever bringing the good shit, so I'm not shocked.
Exactly. I was tempted to delete all the bad ones from this one because it's like there's so many good covers, but I kept a couple in for the heads.
Good to know. Good to know.
Let's take the boat out on.
What?
Forget your job for just one day. I wish it didn't have to be so bad. And it might be inappropriate because either way our band gets dropped, oh yeah. I wish it didn't have to be so bad.
Hulu original series, the episode where the boat wasn't left tied up and it's floated away, and meanwhile the teen girl protagonist comes back to the dock and there's a empty bottle of pills and the captain is passed out at his desk and she doesn't know how it's going to end, and there's just sort of like these vignettes of all this tragedy and pain going on with this cover playing over top, and then the credits roll, created by Sam Sutherland and just how he is.
Yes.
It's like so good.
I mean, I'm always shocked by like who ends up being in the nation. We're like, God damn, I wish someone could get us tickets to the Magic Castle, and then it's like, here are your tickets to the Magic Castle, sir. Is like, if you are a Hulu executive.
I don't know if Hulu originals like I was thinking of a teen movie, like, you know how Netflix movies are so much worse than Netflix shows, which are also dog shit. So I was thinking this would be like a Hulu original movie.
Oh wow.
So it's like that's the tone, but it's on purpose, so you can't criticize it because it's on purpose.
Yeah. It's criticizing the entire genre then of cool movies like that.
No, but that was like legit a beautiful cover, and I wanted to hate it, but it sounds so nice. What a lovely man St. Manville is.
That's sick. Has he
Do you
done
think his
other?
name is self-titled Manville?
I think so. Yeah, or maybe we'll never know. Maybe it's. Damn, ST. I just wonder, like, if ST's got other Blake covers because I want them.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna see. That was on YouTube via CD Baby, so it seems like ST really has this like shit going on here. Oh my God, the kids aren't all right.
What?
Isn't that like The Offspring? I gotta play that.
You gotta play. That's like one of the best Offspring songs.
And She by Green Day, I assume.
Do you think
The Middle?
Do you think Movies is the one by Alien Ant Farm?
Oh my God. Okay, here's The Kids Aren't All Right.
Oh, what?
Oh my God.
They all sound like they're from the climax of a film. This is like the running across town, like fast intercutting with like,
except
not making it to your grandmother's hospital bed in time, you know?
Exactly, except somehow he has like Elliott Smith and microphones energy too. Like, I don't feel like he's from that West Side Netflix show.
No, not at all, yeah.
When we were young, the future
Oh
was
my
so bright.
God!
The old neighborhood was so alive.
This is like literally all I ever want to listen to.
So beautiful.
All down the street.
It's like if Elliott Smith songs were good.
Make it big.
Jokes, I don't know.
Now the
Yo, Elliott Smith and Triple X Tentacion have the sickest band in heaven now.
kids are grown up, but their lives are warm. How can one
I'm waiting for like
little stream swallow so many lives?
We gotta get to this chorus, yeah.
Chances blown, nothing's free. Longing for what used to be.
okay, ST Manville, you're fucking coming on the pod,
ST
whether you like it or
Can
not.
you do me a
Please.
favor? I'm sorry, like I'm making this fucking longer, but can you play the movies cover because I need to know if it's Alien Ant Farm?
Okay.
Because it feels like it could be, you know?
Beautiful palette.
Yes! Oh my God! This man covered Alien fucking Ant Farm like this? This is no joke, like no fucking joke. I think we talked about me going up to Barrie to see Alien Ant Farm like 2 years ago. This song is like an unheralded gem of this era.
Yo, ST Manville has 155 likes on Facebook.
That is fucked. This man is a generational talent. Okay, I want to hear the chorus.
I want you to be free. Don't worry about me.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And just like the movies, we play out a last scene.
Good fucking God.
To contemplate.
Oh my God.
Like that, like I feel like I'm hallucinating. Like why does that exist and why is it so fucking good?
It's like completely the least ironic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
also.
like that's the thing is it's like it's not like, oh, I'm going to cover these like sort of dumb songs and I'm going to do it like real the sincere Elliott Smith vibes, wink wink. There's like no winking. Like the art is just like this like stark photo, sort of simple, like beautiful layout.
And, and also like
my God,
especially with The Kids Aren't Alright, like the riff that is what makes you know it's The Kids Aren't Alright is very obscured by just like this beautiful finger picking.
That's insane. Like it's just one of those things where like, it reminds me. It's like the opposite version of when we've heard things like other things where you're like, oh, this is a person interpreting these songs in a way that makes me feel like I instantaneously understand where they're coming from because they're like me. Like whereas like the other like Wendy Clear bands where you're like, okay, I get it, but like this is not. This person came at this whole thing from a different angle than maybe you and I did. Whereas like this feels like someone who came at all these bands from the same place and maybe ended up in the same place that we did, right? Where they still think that movies by Alien Ant Farm or Wendy Clear are like the best songs ever written, but they also love like the microphones and they love Elliott Smith or whatever, and they're interpreting it through that filter, but like no winking. None.
Or maybe this person is 10 years younger than us and just has absolutely no like they're so earnest that they don't even understand what they're doing is being anything other than just what they're doing.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I like these songs. These are like classic songs that my parents listen to.
I don't know. We got to get ST on the pod because this is fucked.
I want to take a trip to ST Manville. Good God.
All right, I'm gonna play through 4 more.
Okay, it's not gonna get better than that. Is your fucking problem?
I know it's not, but that's why
I'm liking this page. I want to make sure I get updates about ST Manville.
Yeah, we need to talk. We need to get ST Manville is gonna probably. I noticed there's an ST Manville Twitter too that is about to be inundated with Nation follows. I think.
Oh damn! Okay, sick.
ST Manville is part of the Nation, whether he likes it or not.
This is like a real like we are forcing someone into this world right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this one is definitely completely the opposite. This is Martin Hacker Mullen.
Martin Hacker's a cool name.
This Bandcamp page looks like it was designed on MS Paint, like a long time ago.
Yeah, this is like sick, like kind of legit, vintage looking. Like I don't know how you'd make this art anymore.
And I guess maybe it's not Martin Hacker Mullen because it seems like the artist's name is Luigi Takes the Lead, and this is a bonus track from Luigi Takes the Lead's demos. And yeah, like the Bandcamp is just truly so perplexing. And it sounds like this.
Let's take the boat out on the bay. Forget your job for just one day. I wish you didn't have to be so bad. It might seem inappropriate because either way our band gets dropped, oh yeah. I wish you didn't have to be so bad. 'Cause I play with fire to break the ice. And I play with a nuclear device. This is something I'll regret. What would you want, but I can't get it. I wish you didn't have to be so bad.
There's like a million broken synths and banjos and stuff. It feels like
so weird.
Like a hobo Sufjan Stevens kind of vibe.
Yeah, I mean it was cool, but very unexpected based on the aesthetics. Like wasn't really sure what to expect. Still not sure what I got.
Yeah, I don't really get it either, but I'm into it. I'm just happy to know that there's like people out there doing stuff like this for no one except for us to find it. So that makes me happy. Now I gotta revisit someone because we're doing an Enema song. So that means we get to talk about Les Cousins Dangereux.
The best.
And this is a very sick cover. And by the way, I don't think I ever talked about it on the pod, but we did Dumpweed again on patreon.com/Blink155 because, the first episodes, I saw someone tweet the other day that they liked the earlier ones when it was edited and then they had to stop listening because they're so long.
Perfectly reasonable.
I guess, but also
you.
like really? That sounds so boring. Wouldn't you rather go on this wild journey to the center of the internet with us?
No, I don't know.
But so we did Dumpweed again, and that included something that I posted online publicly as well because I couldn't resist. But there's like the Dumpweed supercut of covers that I did with a bunch of stuff that we missed. Because there's Enema is, I think, the most like covered album, it feels like, online. Especially like Cousins Dangerous. So here's Wendy Clear. I think it's one of the best ones on this cover album.
So good. That whole record is incredible.
Yeah, it rules. This song is iconic.
It's a top 5 song. This is truly a top 5 song.
I was just trying to be devil's advocate with myself earlier.
It's because you don't love that.
We wouldn't.
You got some problem with like organs that you need to work through.
I do. Yeah, too. Yeah, I think it's from like early '90s worship band aesthetic choices
right.
that I had to that you never had to deal with. So that's why you're into these kinds of things that you're into.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is the second last one I'm going to play. It's really sad because this was uploaded 11 months ago by M95 on SoundCloud. Incredible cover art. Everything about it is incredible. It's Vindicate VIP Preview WIP. I don't know what any of that means, but it's...
Work in progress, I think, is...
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot. Okay, so... But then what's a VIP? Verk in progress?
Yeah, Verk in progress. Yeah.
Either way, I don't really get it, but unfortunately this preview from 11 months ago has never resulted in an actual song.
That's tough.
And when you hear the preview, you're going to wish that it had. So here we go. M95. So yeah.
It was like it was like a slow fade out, I guess. That was so sick. I wish I want to whip this whip into shape.
Me too. I feel like a vip when I listen to it.
Yeah, just vipping in the whip.
Yeah, I don't know, M95, what are you doing? And then the comments, everyone's like complaining about how long it's been. And M95 has written, also, I've practically abandoned SoundCloud. So, I don't know. Like, stop procrastinating and finish this shit because it's so cool. And the art is amazing also.
Well, yeah, it kind of reminds me of... It's very Le Cousin Dangereux, just like glitched out, but like totally black and white version of this like iconic image.
Yeah, it rules.
So sick.
So finally, the last one was uploaded a month ago. Saved it for the last because it is a member of the nation. It's Dion Sandals, who you might know from Twitter.
Yeah.
Also of the Bad Hombres from the Free Punk Lyrics compilation, which is the tapes are waiting for me in Montreal, supposedly.
Incredible.
So that's exciting.
Are they going to be on sale like at the Montreal show? Or are they all spoken for? Did people all email you to get them?
I think I'm going to figure that out on Friday before we go to the show, but I think they might be all sold.
You know, the show is Saturday, right?
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, they were like...
I was like, oh, shit.
There's this whole thing that happened where they're like... yeah, I don't want to put them on blast because they're really nice, but there was a miscommunication on their end where the tapes didn't get shipped to me, and then they're like, actually, someone who works here is going to the live show. They can just bring the tapes there. And I was like, I don't want to bring the tapes to the live show because I think they're all sold.
Yeah.
And I don't want to accidentally sell someone else's... I mean, I could.
And
I
then
could
you're just responsible for all those tapes.
I could become like a Bernie Madoff, but with tapes. And just like keep selling the same tapes over and over again.
Yeah.
But anyways, Dion Sandals has a project called Ostrov. And Ostrov has done this cover of Wendy Clear.
Damn.
Iconic.
It's such a good song, and that is an excellent cover of it. Oh shit, now it's playing for me in another window. It's fucking sick.
It's so good.
I love Wendy Clear. I love Deion Sandals.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have anything else to add except I think I just don't want to enjoy it, and I do so clearly. It's just so perfect.
So is that your final thought, that you hate
I
to love it, but
so.
you love it?
Yeah, I guess so. What about you?
My final thought is I love to love it, and I love it.
Let's take the boat out on the lake. Forget your job for just one day. I wish it didn't have to be so bad.
Welcome to Blink 155, somebody who I'm speaking to out loud for the first time, even though we kind of know each other. Allie Koehler, welcome.
Hi, thanks.
Well, I feel like this is so LA, but everyone I talk to, when I talk to someone in LA, they're always driving while they do it. Like,
it's a long of the day.
You're like, you're on your way to some meetings with some studios to pitch the Vivian Girls movie, I assume.
Yeah, the biopic.
Yeah, no, but what are you up to? What's going on?
Besides pulling over to talk about Blink-182 while I'm supposed to be working, it's not bad. Do you literally want to know what I'm doing, or you mean just like in general what's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, either or is fine. I'm not really, I'm still learning my way around the ropes, but the reason I hit record is because you were just telling me that you were listening to the pod the first time because you'd never heard my voice before. And so I wanted to ask you on air, does my voice make sense with your idea of me, or does it not? Because that's a huge thing that people have been going through with this podcast, whether or not our voices match us.
I think it does. I don't know, I guess I didn't have an idea of what your voice would sound like. Your voice kind of reminds me. Are you aware of, or were you a fan of Harris Whittles?
Of who, sorry?
Harris Whittles. He was like a comedy writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, your voice kind of reminds me of Harris's.
Oh my God,
which is nice.
Yeah, that's a huge compliment. But I don't think anything I say is on that level. But that rules. Okay, so the reason I invited you on is like pretty creepy, but I just remembered seeing you tweet about Wendy Clear a bunch of times, and I know that you're like a huge Blink-182 fan. So let's just get right into it. What's your story with Blink-182? A, when did you get into them? B, did you ever have a phase where you were too cool for them? And then where are you at now?
Okay, A, I think when we got into them, well, you grew up in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, there's this radio station where I grew up, 106.3, which was like the alt rock station, and they would play like a little deeper cuts than like, your standard alt radio rock. And they played "Damn It" when I think, it was definitely before "Enema of the State" came out. And I remember thinking it was so cool. And I feel like I'm sure a bunch of people have had this same anecdote on the podcast, but like I was 10 years old when "Damn It" came out, so I thought it was very cool to scream the "he fucked her" part with my friends.
Right.
I feel like that's pretty common. But yeah, no, I was like, when I was 10, I was like, I don't know if this was a thing in all elementary schools or just mine, but you had to kind of like decide if you were hip hop or alternative or freestyle, whatever that means. Did you have anything like that? No?
In my high school, it was like either you were just into pop radio or like no matter what.
That was freestyle.
Oh, that was called freestyle. Weird.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's so weird. But then the other, you were either that, or if you were into like punk or metal or classic rock or basically anything at all, then you were called a skid in my high school. So I was considered a skid.
Don't they say that in a Sum 41 song?
Oh, maybe. But I also feel like everything is very regional in Canada. Like I grew up on the West Coast.
As a kid was a skid.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right.
No one knew my name. Crashed my own house party because nobody came. I never knew what that was. So that's like an alternative person?
Yeah, basically. That's good to know that it made it all the way to Ontario, because I was in British Columbia. So, and a lot of words like change. Like,
oh, wow.
Like every province in Canada has a different word. Like men's underwear would be called. I grew up in Winnipeg in Manitoba, where they'd call it gitch, but then in Ontario they call it gaunch, and then somewhere else in Canada they call it ginch, and it's like all of these words are so disgusting. I hate saying them out loud to begin with.
All of them are fucking gross.
They're horrifying. But like, so you'll be like, if you move to a different province and you're a little kid, and for some reason you're talking about your underwear and you say the wrong word, everyone's gonna like the other people have literally never heard the other words. Like this is like a big problem in Canada, is that we're still not communicating enough about our underwear slang, I guess.
Well, they're all so close, though.
I know, exactly. It's insane. So at least skid is a universal term for like somebody who listens to alternative radio, I guess.
Okay.
So
I guess my point.
you decided
Yeah,
you didn't become free. Yeah, but what was it called in your school?
I was alternative.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, my friends were like, like the skaters and stuff. So we were like, and my friends were like mostly boys. It was like me, my one like friend who was a girl, and then boys. And we just listened to Blink-182 and watched like WWF and listen to Blink-182. That's pretty much what we did. So
that sounds amazing. Yeah. That's a very that's a very now personality as well too. Like that's like
I know. Well, my personality's not really changed much, which goes to part B of the question, which is no, I've never been embarrassed like Blink-182.
So you never had a phase where you're like, I mean, because you've been in so many like cool bands, and I assume that you were like going to shows and stuff eventually at some point in there, and you never were like, oh, actually, I only like 80s hardcore or something like that.
No, no. Like, and I think it's funny too, because Vivian Girls definitely had this like air of like, we're so cool about it, that I think other people gave us, but all three of us like have never stopped liking stupid shit.
Yeah, good for you. I mean, I wish I had the fortitude to stay like that throughout without having my pretentious phase, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely like pretentious things, but it's also like, but none of them are as good as like the Get Up Kids.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. So is Blink-182 like your number one normie punk band, or do you like other ones more?
They're probably number one for normie, like Billboard Top 100.
Hell yeah.
Punk band.
That rules. And so what is it about Wendy Clear that stands out to you?
Well, I was listening to it because I was like, because I told you, I was like, Wendy Clear is probably my favorite Blink-182 song, and then I was like, I should listen to it and make sure that I stand by it. Mm-hmm. And I do. It's so good. I think what I like about it is I love the keyboards in it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really like the skeleton of it is so simple, but I feel like there's enough different melodies going on in it to like keep your brain like interested. I don't know if that makes sense. Like it basically has like just enough to keep you interested, and I like it. I don't know how else to describe it.
I know exactly what you mean. Like the I don't know if it's like the bass line or if it's the chord progression or what, but there's something about it that is so simple, but also you've never heard it before, kind of. Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like a lot of times Blink-182 can be like, Travis is like doing too much.
Yeah.
And like the production is like doing too much, but I feel like in Wendy Clear, it's like the perfect, I don't know. It's like the production is good. There's definitely some like odd choices and like super late 90s choices on tones of things. Mm-hmm. Like that guitar, I don't know, like the guitar where it kind of like drops out, like before it kicks back in is pretty, that tone is kind of tragic. But I don't know. There's just a lot of little things going on that like I like.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. Like they're obsessed with doing like first thought, best thought with stuff, and I feel like it's diminishing returns on the newer songs. It's like maybe you should have actually rewritten this one, but this is an example of where it's just like, okay, he probably just like sat down and wrote this song and it came out perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they just, like, had a producer that was like, ooh, you know, what if this happened here? And, like, made it, like, more dynamic or something.
So we've been noticing that people are, like, either more of a Mark person or more of a Tom person, and I'm curious about
Mark,
you.
1,000%.
Really?
Mark. Yes.
And so have you listened to New Blink?
No. I think I did. I mean, no. I listened to, what was, like, the first thing they put out when Matt Skiba joined?
Bored to Death.
Yeah, that song's not bad, but it's like, I don't know. I'm 33. I'm not. No, I'm just not.
Right.
Like, good job. It's not terrible, but it's not for me. And I don't care, you know?
Don't dig any deeper because it gets a lot worse than that if you keep going. There's a lot of like EDM hand claps in some of the songs, and like just it's scary. It gets really scary. But I think because we had Whitmer Thomas on the pod recently too, and he is also a Mark person. And then when I was
going to say, did you know Whit and I played in a band with Mark?
And then I saw that on YouTube, and he's also a Mark person who hasn't really dug into the new stuff too much. So I think the theory I'm building here is that to stay a Mark person, you have to not listen to New Blink, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you guys played in a band with Mark. Tell me about that. And he was the other person who had to pull over, by the way, to talk.
Whit?
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm also like really self-conscious because I'm like getting over a cold that I sound like I have vocal fry. But
it's great.
I assure the listener that I don't usually sound good.
We were watching House Hunters International yesterday, and it was a newer episode, and the girl had like such crazy vocal fry, and I always Google the people on the show while we're watching to like find out if they've broken up since then or not. And all I could find was like there was like a long ass House Hunters forum discussion about how much they hated this girl's vocal fry, and it sounded like it sounds like she's putting every sentence through a cheese grater while she talks. But
that's kind of how I feel. But I promise it's because my throat is fucked up.
You don't sound like the House Hunters International girl, I promise.
Okay, great. Playing in a band with Mark. I think we did it twice. We did it at least twice. I think that's it. That's fucked up. Like, 12-year-old me would be like, how do you not remember how many times you played with Mark Hoppus? But, I don't know. Whatever. And Jonah, who played drums in it, had asked me to play with them. I'm not sure if that was like, so it wasn't just a bunch of fucking white dudes.
Right.
Or if they actually wanted me to. They were like, oh, Allie likes Blink-182, and that would make it less lame. I don't know. I was like, yeah, of course I'll fucking do that. And we played, I think we just played covers. I'm so upset with myself that I can't really remember it.
That's actually kind of sick, though. You're like, it's no big deal. Who gives a fuck? Moving on.
No, I super give a fuck. The first time I was like so nervous because it's Mark Hoppus, and I was trying so hard to just act normal, and we were sound checking, and I did like the dumbest, most rookie thing ever, and I could feel him being like I play with real people and this just happened. I was like, we were anxiously sound checking and I couldn't hear myself in the monitor, so I had the mic in my hand and I like leaned towards the monitor to listen and fully let the mic feed back into it, and it like squealed, and I'm like, I know that's like, I know you never point a mic at a monitor. I don't know why I did it. And I was so embarrassed. Like, I don't get embarrassed by much, but that made me feel like such a fucking dork. And like, it's probably like, oh yeah, this fucking girl doesn't know what she's doing. You know, like, that was really stressful.
I can understand.
Like, he's so pro. Like, in my head, like, Blink-182 is a punk band, but you forget that they're, like, have been touring on this like insane international level for so many years that they're not a punk band at all.
Right.
And like, you know, Mark is old. I mean, he's not old, but like in my head, he's like captured at like 27 and like, that's who he is. But it's like, no, this is like a professional musician who like has a guitar tech. And like we practiced at Jonah's practice space and his guitar tech like set his amp up for him there.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh, right. I'm like,
yeah. Like I wonder when's the last time you think Mark picked up an amp himself?
Never. Like besides, I don't even know. Who knows? But I was just like, right. Like, we played Dinosaur Jr. Freak Scene.
Oh, shit.
And I had looked the chords up on, like, azchords.com or whatever. And they were wrong. They were like the wrong key or something. But I don't even know what that means. So I was just like, whatever, Mark's punk, he'll get it. And then he's like, well, actually, I think that's, you know, it's not A sharp, it's B flat, or like shit, I don't know. And I'm just like, oh yeah, totally. Like I've never felt like such a stupid idiot. Like I don't know shit.
That's
He was totally nice. He was super nice, but it was just like the disparity between our skill sets was palpable.
So you were playing guitar in this band?
I sang the first time we played together. And I think it's so hard. I played guitar the second time we played together. I think there were only 2 times, and there was a practice in there, and that's why I was confused about how many times.
Right. So, but you mostly covered other people's songs. Like you didn't do too many Blink-182 songs. Because the weird thing is that we recently had Allie from Peach Kelly Pop and Barry from Joyce Manor on, and they have a Blink-182 cover band. I'm just saying this for the listeners. I'm sure that you know, but they have a Blink-182 cover band called Blink-183. And when they announced that they were doing their first show, like Mark wanted to join the band. So I'm just thinking, like, is he trying to join Blink-182 cover bands at this point?
I think he is very. What I feel is that, how do I articulate this? I am a huge fan of the Get Up Kids. I found out that Jim from the Get Up Kids knew who my band Upset was and thought we were cool. And when he found out that I thought the Get Up Kids were cool, he was like, oh man, that's so nice to hear, because I feel like all these like shitty, embarrassing emo bands cited us as a reference, and it sucks.
Right.
And then to have like someone who's like currently not shitty and embarrassing. I mean, I'm definitely shitty and embarrassing sometimes, but in a different way. I don't know. I think he was kind of like, oh man, I still got it. Because like someone who I think is cool thinks I'm cool. So I feel like that maybe Mark like is like a young comic and he's cool and like a skateboarder and relevant and like, I don't know. I think he might be honored that like current punk bands and stuff think he's cool. And it's not like, I can't even think of a reference, but someone
like he's going to those like weird. He's going to those weird alternative press awards shows every year, and then he's like, "Oh my god, like someone actually cool is aware of me." Still.
Yeah. He's like, "Whoa, like you guys like practice in a practice space where you set up your own guitars. How cool!"
Yeah, like he doesn't have to hang out with Ronnie Radke for one weekend. He's excited.
Yeah. So I think he's just like, I think he's into it when people who don't suck are into him.
Right. And so, okay, you're a Mark person. How do you feel about Tom in 2019?
I honestly, like, I try to just stay away. It seems he's fucking weird. And I don't know. I've always been kind of like even back in the day, I was always kind of like, ugh. Like, obviously there are Tom songs I like, but it's like singing about diarrhea when you're like nearing 30 is lame. And I feel like I knew that when I was 13.
Right.
You know? Like, how are you, like, I know Mark has like some songs about college and stuff, but like really singing about high school Like, you're grown-ass men.
Yeah, like when he's like
I know.
on Anthem Part 2 when he's like, kids can't vote, adults elect them. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's like, you are so far removed from that. What are you doing?
But now he's like fully space researcher and he's going to save the world, so...
I know. Well, it's funny because as I was looking for a place to pull over, thankfully there's a car with a vanity plate that said Alien. I was like, oh, it's a sign. It's like Tom.
Yeah, maybe that is Tom's car. Okay.
Maybe that's Tom.
What about, as a drummer, are you more of a Scott Rayner, or, I mean, in terms of who you, maybe not who you're modeled after, but who's your favorite between Scott Rayner and Travis?
I mean, I have to say Travis, because Scott only, I don't know, Travis obviously played on the stuff that kind of less cool, but it's better, I feel.
Okay.
But, I mean, I also, it's tough, because from a drummer standpoint, I would hate Travis Barker. I fucking hate, like, flashy, like, ooh, I'm gonna, like, roll on the hi-hat bullshit. Like, it's, but I feel like for them it works somehow.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's not a lot. He does way too much. But it's also pretty impressive. And somehow it doesn't bother me. But then in general terms, I'm more of a Scott drummer type person. But for Blink, it's got to be Travis.
Okay. All right. Now I'm just trying to like get grounded because I'm talking to someone who I assume doesn't spend like 6 hours every week thinking about every single Blink-182 song. So I've kind of lost my grasp on reality, which actually, you know, I've always wanted to talk to your husband on here because he does a similar thing where what was the rules again? Uh-huh. He watched he watched at least one Adam. You tell it.
One Adam Sandler movie. Yeah, I was there.
You were there
in our house while it happened. We watched one Adam Sandler movie a day, every day for 365 days.
That's so stressful. But then, why did he always watch like multiple in a day? Also, he went above and beyond.
Well, then we also had Sandler Con, which we didn't do because we had a baby and that would be nuts.
Yeah.
So Sandler Con is something we started a couple of years ago where we watch for 24 hours. We watch Sandler movies.
So are you like are you into this kind of stuff, or is it all hit? Like, I mean, are you down with like just binging on pop culture as well, or do you kind of just like be like, oh, you're on your own shit?
So like, I love Adam Sandler, and his whole thing has not taken away from it.
Right.
I feel like if anything, it's added to it. It's almost like, I don't know, it's weird. The more you watch, the more you're like, oh, I love this guy. He's like a sweet family man. I'm not going to get into that, but Aloy, like, he loves to punish himself.
Right.
In this weird way. And he's also, like, very obsessive about stuff. And I think he likes to just... Sorry, as I'm talking, my voice is getting more, like...
It's great. I really like it. It's turning into, like, an ASMR kind of thing.
I don't know. I don't know why he does it, but he loves to give himself, like, bullshit challenges.
Yeah. Well,
he's also, like... He's kind of OCD, so it's, like... his first tweet about that, like, Adam Sandler for a year thing was like, I'm aiming to blah, blah, blah. Like, the vibe of it was like, let's see if I can keep up with this. But it's like, I know you're going to, because you would, like, die if you didn't see it out to the end. Like,
right.
You would never be able to, you know?
Yeah, I didn't realize how similar I was to that until we started this podcast. But, like, like hell or high water, we make sure that we talk about a new song every week, no matter what. And even like thematically, Adam Sandler and Blink-182 are kind of similar because they're these like Gen X fart joke guys who are aging. But I feel like you just said, like Adam Sandler's aging so gracefully. Another weird thing is they rarely cross paths culturally.
Yeah, that is true. They're like not in each other's universe at all, but there are so many similarities.
Yeah, like when it comes to like dudes that love giant shorts, they've really got the market cornered. It's so weird.
Here's example of how Aloy and I are different, and I'm assuming how you and I are different. I started a podcast, a Weezer podcast, that's pretty similar to what you're doing with Blink-182.
Okay.
We were just going to, their catalog is so big, so we were just going to do 3 songs per episode where we cover everything in their catalog.
Yeah.
And we recorded like probably 10 episodes and got really good guests. We got like Rachel Hayden from That Dog and like a bunch of like comedians and people relevant to the band. And all of us that were involved in it, was me, Sean O'Connor, and Nate Farrell. And we were all too lazy to edit it, so we just never did it.
Yeah.
We just stopped.
Well,
so, like, we have whole episodes out there.
Oh, my God. You should finish it. The thing is, we just decided to never edit our podcast, so every episode is like a 3-hour torture session with every side thought, and people love it. So you should just don't edit it and make it even dumber than you did, and then I think you'll blow up. Except then we'll pretend that you stole your idea from us and start a manufactured beef, maybe.
I love beef, manufactured or not.
I know you do.
As you know,
yeah.
I know. I was like, I hope this doesn't come up. But here it is. But let's not say who it is. But Brian and I have definitely talked shit about someone via DM.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm super down for a lot more of it. Anytime. I'm always down to talk some shit.
Okay. It's funny how Aloy and I, the listener, Aloy is my husband, we're always like, I like your name. He's so funny. Like, we were cracking up about your iced tea thing.
Awesome. That's so good.
Is it your girlfriend or your wife?
My wife, yeah, my wife.
Okay, yeah. And she was like, what did she reply to him? Like, that he famously doesn't let people enjoy things.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's hilarious.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah, well, we're going to have to hang out and have like a real IRL shit talk session that the listeners don't get to take part in. But the last thing I was going to ask you about is we're talking power trios. And what a like embarrassing alt rock way to intro the next bit.
We're talking power trios.
We're talking power trios. Some of the greats: Rush, Blink-182, Vivian Girls.
Question mark?
But yeah, so Vivian Girls, you like secretly recorded an album?
Yeah, we did.
How did you even do that?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, I guess there's not like paparazzi being like, oh, they're talking to each other.
No. We went to a practice station, restaurants, and recorded them. Yeah, I don't know.
It still seems like a pretty good secret. Like nobody, was anyone aware of it that you thought was gonna like blow the secret or something?
No. We're trying to be pretty good about just like straight up never talking about it with anyone besides like our loved ones.
Right.
Like I think I didn't even tell my boss, who's like a very close friend of mine, until we were actually recording. Like she had no idea, and she was like a big Vivian Girls fan too. She had no idea we were practicing or writing or anything.
Amazing. So why did you?
It was kind of fun.
Why'd you decide to come back?
So I think Katie had called Cassie in like 2017, maybe beginning of 2018, and it was like because we were coming up on like 10 years of whatever, like 10 years from the first album and second album and stuff. So she was like, kind of like, oh, should we like do the whole like 10 years thing? So we just Cassie came out to LA because Katie and I both live down now, and just we started playing together and playing old songs, and it kind of just felt like time had passed. And Cassie was like, well, what if we like work on some new stuff? And so we just started doing it, and it was pretty seamless, and it was nice because there's like no expectation, no one knew, the label didn't know. Because I think Vivian Girls are still under contract technically to really small stuff on Polyvinyl, but they're like super chill. They're like whatever, it's not like a hostage situation or anything. But
there's like a Suge Knight. There's like a Suge Knight at Polyvinyl.
So yeah, we started playing and writing, and we liked what we were writing, and we're like, do we record the album? Okay, yeah, totally, let's do it. And like told the label, and they're like, that's cool, yeah, let's do it. And so it was kind of nice because like when we recorded the only other album I played on was Everything Goes Wrong, and when we recorded that, there was like, you know, it was like 2008 internet hype band shit show.
Right.
It's really hard to make something in that kind of place, so it's cool to kind of just do it in a vacuum without any outside influence or stuff like voices in our head.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you've done the opposite of most bands who like break up but secretly plan their comeback together and then pick which festival they'll do like a huge big payday at. But you've kind of done the opposite where it's like this is like a very chill comeback, it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, Katie and I both are moms now too, so it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, like are you going to bring your kids on? Are you going to bring your kids on tour?
We're still kind of trying to figure that out. On the East Coast, our parents are still there, so I think like parents are going to have the kids for some of that. And then I think a lot of them might just stay home together. It's not like weekend stuff because I have a job that I love and want to keep, and so I can't be like, you know,
get in the van
for 9 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and like I don't want that. Like I hate touring.
Yeah.
Like I hate it. It's miserable. I like my routine. I hate leaving home. So yeah. There's definitely not going to be any of that. Like, if I never drive through Western North Dakota again in my life, I'll be okay with that.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it's nice to not have any pressure. I feel like back in the day, we just like said yes to everything because we could, and also because it was like, well, strike while the iron's hot. But it was nice to just be like, no, I don't want to do anything, you know, in November and December, so we're just going to play these shows and it'll be nice, and that's that, you know.
That rules. Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you want to plug?
No, but I will say I didn't name my daughter Wendy after Wendy Clear, but she is named Wendy, and I did listen to Wendy Clear, like, the day I came home from the hospital with her. That was cool.
So maybe you did name her after it and didn't realize?
There's a lot of really good Wendy's.
True.
Like a fast food restaurant.
True. True.
No, I don't know. I honestly don't know where it came from, but
well, if she becomes, if she grows up to become a Scientologist, she'll be truly Wendy Clear.
Yeah. She'll be going Wendy Clear.